stream. Wow, it's really late today. It's about 2:20 a.m. for me. But that doesn't stop me because we are seeing crypto right now growing to all-time high back together. So welcome everyone. Looks like we are going to be checking news today. We're going to be checking everything new with the live stream and everything new that's going to be happening with the exchange itself. So, here. No. All right. Okay, let's do this. Let's check the prices of XRP now. Actually growing, saw a bottom trend line if I show you over here. So XRP has been in a sturdy 322 last time, and it fell very, very deep in the trenches. Just like the whole market, we shouldn't feel too worried because this is a natural path to recovery. Again, if you see these types of peaks like 22,000, of course you're gonna see some, smaller bumps in the road. So just always remember, it's never, after the rain, there's always sun. So will XRP ever go below $2? This rebound, it's already rebounding from $3. So first it needs to go under $3 to ever hit under $2, right? So we might never see that. You gotta realize we might never see that coming. And you gotta be happy with that. So all right. Let's go check here the prices. This looks like a pretty good long. I'm gonna do 10 XRP. I feel like this candle could be moving slightly up. It's trying to push for those barriers. Again, who knows at this point? But we are seeing XRP trying to reach back at 3.16. It's trying to reclaim a few cents. So let's see. Stop loss is going to be minus 1% and top loss is going to be like 3%. I definitely think right now the whales are going to try to push it. Okay, never mind. I got completely liquidated there. So let's not think about that. These candles right now, we could take time. Cashing a check tomorrow, invest more in XRP. My beloved underdog, my favorite out of all crypto. That's the thing. It literally sees less and less red candles here, right? And it's seeing more and more green candles, actually. It's seeing less and less of these drops. So the people who sold have sold here at this price range, 345. So these whales are out of the game for now. They are quitting playing. But we are, we are looking at a rebound right now already. So XRP has a ton of new content as well. I'm going to be making videos. XRP went from 195 to 3.66, up 92% in 30 days. And people are still, very worried about the price drop. We just had a 16% pullback. It's a healthy correction, nothing out of the ordinary. I feel like it's mostly XRP retail that's in panic. Like $10 to $15 is not that unbelievable. That's the thing. $10 to $15, it is still on the charts. Is it going to happen this year? Probably not. But, in crypto, we never saw Bitcoin hitting 120K, and it's out there. So it definitely has the huge potential that we are seeing right now. And we might see it bump even more in the price. Again, it's trying to reach more barriers. Right now, the price is having kind of crazy. But for me, I definitely feel like we are going to be seeing XRP for, bump on a bumpy ride, basically. So look at that. It's already going. It's trying to reclaim the prices back that it saw before. So I'm not sure why my stop loss is not here, but again, doesn't matter. Right now, the prices are very crazy. All right. So yeah, it's trying to like drop down below. It's trying to get people to sell, right? But I'm not too worried. Look at that. We should have closed that a long time ago. Now let's open a 10 XRP short. I definitely feel like it's gonna drop a bit more now. Might even drop a few more cents. Nothing too crazy. Okay, so we can close this trade. We just made profit, right? So see? Seems like the whales are trying to fight over it, and they're trying to push this barrier below. Again, 90% up. So, can it recover? I definitely think it can. Especially here at this price point, like 320. People were asking to buy it for 320 just because it dropped from 340. Again, you know, very good overall still. Like, we saw it up 90%, and that's exactly as I called it. So this is where I said it needs to break the barrier. This is what I made yesterday. Again, if we want to see the prices drop steadily, it first needs to break below $3. And something tells me that it can't even break below $3. So it's definitely looking good so far. So let's open a long here. That's a long candle. Long. All right. We're up now. Stop loss 1%, 3%. We're in profit. Okay, good. Lots of liquidation there, but that's to expected. No worry here. It's literally to squeeze out the extra money. So, you know, these markets right now, they are a good profit for anyone that wants to take that money, right? So the big whales are going to squeeze out anyone and anything at this point. They love squeezing people out, right? So look at that. You know, they're trying to push the price lower and then do a buyback, which is something most people don't realize. I think it would happen today if I could have never known, but looking good. You never know when the crypto prices crash. That's the thing. You know, if people knew when the prices would crash, they could just close the trades the same day and make tons of money, right? So it doesn't make much sense to think about what could have happened. What's important is to like focus on the future. Focus, where can I make money now? What can I do to make money? Like whales, you know, they already are, that's their hobby. That they make a few million and then they go on their yacht. There's literally traders like that. But again, you know, you got to take the small wins for us little fish that are holding XRP. I'm not too worried. I'm just, you know, trading here and I'm looking, where can I profit, you know? How can I profit from this? So see, I got liquidated here because the whales keep trying to liquidate me, basically. It's very crazy right now. You can see the prices, their whales are purely fighting. And it's a big issue for a lot of these whales. Look at this price. So yeah, XRP up 90%, definitely not worried. I was part of the green bar today. I have a small part, but still a part, you know. Oh, Brad Garlinghouse made a new update. ICMI in the midst of regulatory goodness last Friday. Blue Chip Org ranked Ripple LUSD, which is their stablecoin, as the #1 most trusted stablecoin in the market. And the Blue Chip, the highest rated stablecoin on Blue Chip, has never changed. But today, Ripple, basically Layer USD, has become the #1 ranked stablecoin. So this is a big news for Ripple. Why? Look at this. So very low lots of stability, and again, backed by US Treasury bills, government money market, and bank deposits. And when people hold their money during a recession, guess what? They will go flock to Ripple. What does the government want when they use, you know, partnerships? They want stability, they want safety, they don't want random chaos. And Ripple and XRP having this big partnership definitely tells me that something big is planned. Something that, you know, whales have been buying at 30 cents. If we look at statistics here, whales have still been you know, basically claiming, you know, for $3. They've been scooping up the supply at $3. So Ripple XRP got an award from Blue Chip for safest USD stablecoin. This month, right? This month. So it's definitely a lot of stuff still coming for Ripple. Where's the XRP army? How did you get ripped for 165K? I guess like he lost 165K from the price dropping. I'm not that, it's not, you can see some big whales. Blue Chip has never been audited themselves. Nobody knew they were before. This ranking couldn't mean less. This is just one of many news for XRP. Yeah, South Korea with XRP is also another big thing that's going to be coming. That's why the markets are exploding, and that's why you see me stream so late at night. So it's 2:30 a.m. So smash that like button. But the reason why I'm streaming late at night as well is because the markets get more crazy. You can see the Korean markets jumping. Come on, baby. Give me big. No, but we're going to try to reclaim that biggest barrier. See, we're already up 2%. So if I was trading with $10,000, that would be what? 2% of $10,000. All right, it would be $200. See, I'm just making double sure so I don't sound foolish. So that would be $200 profit if this would be a $10,000 trade. Again, that's how fast you can make money in crypto. Unfortunately, I have a much smaller position. So we are gonna try again to get the correct trade, because I do feel like it's gonna short now and see here, open a stop loss, right? It's gonna try to push it back down. The whales are really fighting to push it lower. I feel like they want to buy the entire supply. Project Dunbar and CBDCs. Money never sleeps. Exactly. The markets will still keep moving. Like, the markets don't care about feelings, right? Did I make money on this or did I lose everything? I guess I lost some because they're trying to push me out. But that's okay. Stop loss is my friend, so I don't lose too much money. Here we go. They're trying to push for a new barrier, see? They're trying to go and give us basically more returns in here. So yeah, I definitely think, I feel like XRP could be reclaiming back to 330. At least 327. So a few cents up. And we're going to be also watching what's the latest news today for XRP. So that would be very, very exciting to have XRP basically explode overnight. Again, anything could happen at this point. I am not too shocked by the markets reacting this way. It's completely normal. Again, you know, we saw worse than that. I survived 80% crashes. And when you survive this stuff, this kind of looks like a baby game, you know? All right, so I feel like there's going to be a lot of pullbacks. You know, the Korean traders, I think they're pushing it up. Yep, exactly as I said. I'm going to be closing this in a profit. Let's try again. All right. See, it's fighting so fast. It literally is trying to fight. So I'm going to just take 2%. It's completely fine. We're going to take 2% on that. I'm going to go slightly more leverage, because we don't have a big position, but that would be the big thing. And then we're going to watch some XRP news as well. So yeah, let's see what's on XRP. Let's do one more trade for good luck. All right, I feel like a long here, and stop loss. We can kind of go long it, right? See how it's trying to push for a few cents more? That's exactly what I was saying. 5% up. We can close it here. Close it all, right? No worries. Easy profit. So yeah, we're going to be checking where XRP goes from here. Now we can literally... Ooh! just pumped up some more. So yeah, that's pretty intense. Right now, the markets are very intense, Nelson. It's absolutely incredible how the markets are moving because the Koreans have woken up, right? And there's a lot of money coming in. That is a lot of money, to be honest. So the markets are going insane right now. We got to check what's happening with XRP prices and YouTube videos as well. That's another thing we're going to be checking today. Right now, I'm trying to see where it could end up going back. You know, it could reclaim here back to 333. 333 is the new goal for XRP. And thank you, everyone, for smashing that like button. Again, I have a feeling it could go slightly more up. I'm waiting for this candle to drop a bit. And then once that is done, would be very nice, right? So yeah, the markets, look at that. It's very volatile right now. Look at how these candles can drop so fast, right? So it's going to try to reclaim here, or it's going to drop so fast. All right, so I just got, that's why you open a stop loss, because I literally got 6% in about a moment. That's completely fine, and we will make that money back. But you can see here how the markets are very crazy right now. It's not safe. It's like fighting with a shark, basically. It's like fighting with a shark because the markets right now are intense. So we're going to go lower leverage. 31 is completely fine. There's no reason to go that risky. But look, there's battle between rich people and richer people. And, you know, the one who wins is the one who's very rich, from the way I see it. That's a good position to go long here. Long here. 3 and 1. We're going to open this to 4. We're going to open a short. I have a feeling that this will drop. All right, we're not liquidated yet. All right, never mind. We are very liquidated. We are liquidated 5% down. Very crazy. It will not explode overnight. I'm being very realistic. I could jump a few points, but nothing big to fantasize about. Now our time will come. Exactly. I feel like the elections will definitely help it exploding. So that is one thing that is really going to help XRP. There was another video I wanted to talk about, and, you know, a YouTuber, Crypto Sensei, awesome guy, made a video on XRP on what exactly is going on. 2022%
XRP
growth.
just set a record.
Look at this. That's why I'm not afraid for XRP.
On the CME futures trading platform. It is blowing up. I wanted to also take a look at data.
CME futures, like most of the traders are now moving to actually trade. I do my trades on the link in the description. So they actually give like a free bonus to all holders. But the good part about here is like so many traders are coming in and actually trading crypto, and they're earning passive, well, not passive income, but they're actively trading and trying to get some extra profit. Once you learn how to trade, it really becomes like a skill that you can use anywhere. You can use it on any crypto.
Growth of XRP price, and what are we looking towards the end of the year if this growth continues? I threw this information into Perplexity last week. XRP futures hit their biggest trading day yet.
How to trade.
Just in time for the 2-month mark. So what's going on here? I said I also wanted to look at data across all major platforms to do with futures. Here is that data. So we're looking at CME first. Launch date, May 19th, 2025.
So yeah, it seems like more of these exchanges are still going to be listing XRP 5 years after it got, you know, listed and delisted everywhere. As long as new people keep joining in, that means there's going to be more demand, which means more people will need these exchanges. And that's the big thing here. Total XRP futures trading nearly 4 billion in a single surge. Binance alone accounted for over 30% of this total. You know, so all these big exchanges are making tons of commission. And this is why my other reason is why XRP will never die, is because, welcome everyone. And we are seeing right now crypto exploding, right? So these exchanges make money from people trading. So why would they let XRP die if their main profit is from XRP itself?
Total contracts, 108,000. Total notional volume,
That's a lot of
$3.1
volume.
billion with an average of
that's nice.
74.8 million.
Awesome
The
take.
biggest single day, 235 million in trading volume, setting a new platform record. XRP equivalent, 49.6 million XRP in just 2 months as of July 18, 2025. Binance, Bitco exchanges, total global volume in June 2025, total XRP futures trading across all top exchanges hit nearly 4 billion in a single surge. Binance alone accounted.
It seems like, you know, these big exchanges, it just gives me another reason. This time in South Korea is like 940, and a big portion before was Terra Luna Classic. Once Terra Luna Classic went down, again, a lot of traders lost a lot of money. So where did they go next? They found the next big volume crypto. Again, Korean traders are a very big trading particle of that. So yeah, hope you're having a great day trading. I'm having a great day overall. I hope you are as well. I hope everyone's having a great day. But yeah, we're going to be checking out why this is so important, because again, basically the exchanges, big exchanges own half of cryptos, all cryptos, or at least like a third of it. And they're not going to let, you know, just basically XRP go away.
Most open interest is concentrated on Binance, Bybit, OKX, and BitGet. Contracts traded more than 5.65 million contracts on Binance and 1.85 million on Bybit during the July rally. Market share and adoption, CME attracts institutional demand seeking regulated exposure, now routinely capturing about 150 million to 235 million daily. It's only a matter of time before this gets...
So yeah, so much money moving around. Think of it like people trading, you know, dollars for the Japanese yen. Is the same thing. A lot of people are coming in and they want to make that extra money. And where do you trade most of the money? Where there's a lot of volume. And that's exactly what XRP is doing right now. It has a lot of volume. It has traders. It has a community. And it's bringing lots of Koreans into trading itself. So that's the big news as well.
Into the billions, ladies and gentlemen. Crypto native exchanges remain the main source of retail and high frequency trading volume, often leading during bull run surges. Here is the growth analysis. How big has the surge been? CME's futures growth surpassed 3.1 billion. Talked about that, reaching a cumulative 1.6 billion July 11, 2025. Global derivatives market, XRP futures derivatives volume.
You think Ripple will offer eventually to raise capital for their potential banking charter, or liquidate XRP when the price gets a good figure for them to do so? Ripple has been talking about an IPO that could happen 2026. So that's another potential, like, you know, Wall Street bet traders that could be coming in. So definitely bullish on that one.
7.1 billion in Q1 2025, dominated by, of course, these two exchanges that we talked about. Global 24-hour derivatives volume exceeds 8 billion at peak periods. Wow. Open interest soared.
Again, just think how much money is moving up and down. You know, there's probably millions and millions of dollars, and these exchanges are also getting millions and millions, if not billions, you know, on some months. So they're getting, you know, 20, 30, 50 million a day.
284% from 3.7 billion to 10.68 billion, 10.6 billion in just 30 days. So if we continue this growth month after month, and if we can...
So yeah, I feel like a lot of people will be joining the communities as well here. You know, when they go into a crypto like that, they want to join the community. They want to go big. And, you know, not only do they buy these tokens, when you buy, for example, a random stock, yes, you might have, you know, decent profits after some time, but you aren't really like joining in that way. But when you are in XRP, it's thousands and thousands of people, it's meetups, it's dinners, coffee, dates, whatever you want to call it. And I think this is where the big factor comes in, why people also buy XRP, right? Is because people love, you know, to have this group settings with cryptocurrencies and say, hey, I own, you know, $100,000 and I bought XRP at a very low price point. You know, there's people and friends I know that bought XRP at a very cheap price and now are coasting it in life, especially like those who bought Bitcoin early.
Gain another 200% or 100% here, 100% there. We're going to be 20 billion, 30 billion, 50 billion. This is what we are looking for. Price correlation, XRP price climb.
This is completely normal. Like when we see price drops like that, again, guys, without like dropping, like if we go $3.2 up, of course, there's going to be some sort of correction and some sort of people who literally can buy a new car, pay off their house, You know, I call these old whales. Why do I call them old whales? Because they've been in the game a long time. They've been during the lawsuit they have held. They have been during, you know, the crash when everybody was saying crypto is gone. They survived everything. And I think this is the most important factor, is most like these long-term holders are slowly siphoning or selling off while the new retail investors are coming in. Thank you, Long Pharaoh, for the sub as well. Appreciate everyone watching the stream. Sometimes I'm also, you know, streaming every day. So if I don't read I usually respond to the chat later if we're watching a video, because I'm making clips on that.
All new time highs for contract and notional sizes. Global participation, over 45% of CME's XRP futures volume originates outside of North America, underscoring international appeal. So half of this volume, pretty much half of this volume, comes from outside of the United States.
That's what I'm telling you. Korean traders, they're very big on crypto, and they're very big on XRP. And they will be going even bigger, harder than ever. And half of this money, yeah, it's not from US, but it's actually from Europe and mostly, I would say, Korea or Asian markets. It's an under-tapped market that we might see more people coming from Southeast Asia, you know, coming to trade these cryptos if it's allowed. So that is just the potential for XRP to go to $10, because most of the buyers of XRP are in the US right now. So you still have, you know, the whole world to basically buy each a little bit of XRP. So crypto will definitely never go away.
If the rapid momentum continues, projected total notional futures volume by December 31st, 2025 at 10% month over month.
That's the thing. It's very hard to project what the growth is going to be here, because usually like the growth is just exploding, right? So XRP went 90% up in the last 30 days. You cannot predict that. This is not like a good normal prediction.
16.8 billion. At 20% month over month, you're at 24.3 billion. And at 30% month over month, you're at 34.8 billion. That is a lot of moolah. This conservative estimate does not account for potential price run-ups, new ETF launches, or surprise macro events. So let's say the ETFs, the spot ETFs get approved and they all launch, and there's billions of dollars in demand and volume there. That could exceed what we're talking about here by a long shot. And if there's other events that happen that allow Ripple or XRP price to go up, or Ripple get their banking license or something like that, that could also be something that sends the price even higher, as well as sends the demand.
One good news is all needed for XRP to reach $3. Again, one good news and a few small ones is all you need for XRP. And I'm really guessing September is when we are really going to be seeing XRP explode at that price point.
On these futures platforms, even greater. Key drivers behind the surge: institutional adoption. CME's regulated suite draws large asset managers and proprietary trading desks. ETF and regulatory clarity, growing likelihood of XRP ETFs, Canada anticipated US actions, and favorable regulatory environment are major tailwinds. Global investor base, nearly half of CME volume now happens outside of North America, reflecting XRP cross-border payments appeal. Will this growth continue?
Again, one ETF in an outside country, not just US, because right now most of the US ETF are based in the US. So if we can get a proper ETF outside of USA, just imagine how much potential extra volume that would be coming into crypto itself, coming into XRP.
Momentum is strong. It does talk about ETF approvals and global banking partnerships. Talks about volatility can swing both ways though. So if there's something that happens in the market, volume could go down as well. Does this help spot prices? Also, I wanted to know, does this mean anything for spot prices?
It probably definitely means something. You know, he's asking if the price will go up if this stuff happens, like the things we have been asking for, or is it just going to be behind the scenes for Ripple, basically the company making money? You're absolutely awesome. You know, yeah, again, that is really awesome what's happening with XRP right now.
Surge in XRP futures trading, like the recent record volumes in the CME and crypto native exchanges, often impact the spot prices, but the connection is nuanced and depends on several key factors.
The next 2 to 3 years will definitely matter most in crypto. You know, we have never seen the price growth we have right now, literally once in the history. Maybe the last time we saw was 2018, but it was much more short-lived. Now, what I'm thinking is if nobody's selling at 120,000 Bitcoin, what does this tell you? For me, it tells me that the institutions don't want to sell 180,000. Again, this tells you that they are comfortable and don't think that there will be another recession. Literally, lowest unemployment in the world is helping this crypto skyrocket to the moon, guys.
Key factors are how XRP futures actively can affect the spot price, price discovery, and liquidity enhancement. High futures trading attracts institutional and retail.
Yeah, we still haven't gotten like the big institutions in yet, just the smaller baby ones. We got a big, when we get those in September, wow.
Participants, often leading to better price discovery. Hedging and speculation. Heavy futures interest indicates more speculation, bullish and bearish, and allows large holders to hedge. If the demand of futures is driven by optimistic settlement, it can pull spot prices higher as traders purchase XRP to hedge the arbitrage between disparities. Funding rates and bases. Perpetuals futures, not CME settled contracts, use funding.
Again, yeah, this is the number one thing. So you have the prices and then you have perpetuals, like saying XRP will go up and down. And that's also a big market that I'm, streaming every single day right now because there's so much money in it. If you learn this skill, it's literally making people millionaires. Again, it's a very, very hard skill and people need years for day trading. It's not like overnight being rich. And most people, 95% of traders lose money. But me, myself, I'm willing to risk it. You got to take risk in life and learn.
Ethereum guy, but XRP, I get. And XRP, the Ripple team, I understand the financial system. I understand the banking system to some degree. And I understand, as we all do, when you try to send a wire, it's a hassle. And, in the old days, it was T+3 settlement. We're now at T+1 settlement for a lot of stocks. And
so, yeah, just seeing like rich people talk about XRP tells me it is going mainstream. Like this is the mainstream stuff. Again, crypto is coming back in a sense. And most people, instead of buying stocks, they buy crypto.
Futures and options. Well, that's still ridiculous.
Yeah.
So anything that speeds up the system, the whole blockchain, the Ripple team from their outset have been out there laying the groundwork in the background to change the financial system, primarily through transfer of assets, primarily through.
All right. I want to look at data growth on the XRP ledger in 2025. So I just wanted to get.
So yeah, more institutions, like I wouldn't even look at growth right now because the thing is, when you see more institutions like growing, more coming in after the regulation, again, this growth could be like 20,000%, not just 2,000%. More and more transactions are coming, and that means there's more utility for XRP. They cannot be ignored any longer. Exactly, the utility has become very strong, right? So they had a 2,700 whale wallets with over $3 million of XRP.
6 months, a growth of about 7,000.
So yeah, the new crypto president is very friendly. That's the another thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, daily active addresses have grown 7x year over year, averaging 295,000 per day. So there's 295,000
whales joining in,
actively trading every single day on the XRP ledger. It's crazy because some videos here, we get 50,000 or 100,000 views. I mean, if there's 295,000 active per day.
So yeah, it seems like a lot of people are using actually the ledger. 200,000, I guess, unique wallets. I don't know how many of those are, real people, but I'm guessing a very big amount.
I possibly can. I love you for being here. Thank you so much. All right, there are 2,700 whale wallets, of course, that hold 1 million or more XRP. Price growth current and upcoming 6 months. As of July 2025, XRP trading at $2.58 to $3.54 range with a market cap of 200 billion. XRP price has grown 30% in the.
So this is what I called untapped market, right? Because you still have the technology there. All you need is some companies to join in and start using it. Because if it saves you money, it saves you time, what's missing? Is missing regulation, right? And then you see this, partnerships, right? You see banks supporting Ripple, and it's all these banks. Yes, a lot of them you probably never heard of before because they are very small. But again, I heard of SCB. It's a Thai bank. If you've been to Thailand, you know it's very popular there. I first thought it was Taco Bell. So let me just show you here. I gotta move my chair a bit. Gosh, it's actually hidden behind me. But the SEB bank, anyway. American Express. Again, you know how many cryptos can get partnership with American Express or BMO or anything like that? Not many. And this just means like once you get the first partnerships, the others are much, much easier.
Jack McDonald said that the Genius Act, we're seeing more consumer companies, retailers, and platforms and tech firms explore whether they need to or have their own stablecoin. But let's be clear, launching a stablecoin isn't like launching a new app. It's infrastructure, and getting it wrong could have consequences. I'm going to do a full video breakdown on this over the next few days. So make sure that you are following the channel, guys. Thank you so much. Have a truly fantastic day.
So yeah, it seems like that XRP right now, definitely very, very, very bullish. I do have another one. Right now, sell your XRP. Sell your XRP. Now, why should I sell my XRP here? So this crypto YouTuber, which I have been watching for some time, Miles G, made a video on why you should sell your XRP.
Sell it all before it goes to zero.
A lot of people say XRP is going to zero and it's going to get destroyed and it's a fugazi. You know, it's not real. It's a trick. And some people will never invest in XRP or cryptos like that. Some will want to sell everything. If you gave someone 1 million XRP and you told him, hey, it's 1 cent now, it's going to go to $3 guaranteed. I can guarantee you some people like 5 years ago would sell everything because they don't believe in they don't want to do their research.
That's what they want you to think today. XRP has crashed. The crypto market has crashed and pulled back.
So what?
But guess what? Cryptos are going to continue to go up. And this
is the good thing. Like this is just a normal correction. We're almost always seeing rallies like that.
Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and stick around to the end of this. People will take profits. XRP had nearly doubled in just a couple of weeks. Not only XRP, but
again, yeah, that's what I've been telling people and they don't want to listen. They're saying, oh, there's so much good news, but XRP is crashing. Guys, if it's your first cycle in the market, basically what's happening right now is someone opened their account and saw $2 million extra. So he saw maybe $1 million, $2 million extra. He's like, should I hold XRP or should I sell that extra 2 million and keep like 30% of my XRP, take the profit out and maybe buy my family a new house or buy myself a nice little boat because I love boating. Anyway, you get the point. People love to cash out in crypto and it's completely normal.
a lot of other
Again, there's going to be new buyers. So this is how the crypto markets work. Once you get new buyers in, the price will not crash at that price point.
coins have pumped massively. And whenever a lot of coins pump massively at that big, no matter how bullish the market is, no matter how many more bullish news is going to come out, no matter how many more catalysts and events, the market will eventually cool off and slow down for a
Smash
minute.
that like button, guys, as well.
And guess
Thank
what
you.
that does? It provides a dip to buy. And that's why it's always good to take profits. You don't have to take all your profits, but it's good to take profits when things go up so that you have cash to buy the dip and keep buying lower and lower. And that's essentially what I did. And I warned you all.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of traders have been taking these profits right now,
saying that there's probably going to be a pullback here soon. We could buy around $3. And look, we hit $3 today. So
guys, so there's going to be also a big announcement on the Fed meeting in 6 days, and I will be streaming that as well. So subscribe and like the video for that because I will be live probably whole day streaming the Fed meeting itself.
we ended up buying
And they are going to be doing a crypto announcement as well, crypto regulation.
around $3. Bought some XRP at $3, sold a little bit close to the top. And guess what? Now I was able to secure all those profits, buy at the bottom, and buy a whole bunch of other altcoins now at the bottom that are bouncing up massively. Is this the bottom? I'm not sure if this is the bottom of the correction, but
Again, a lot of people are saying they will buy $2, but you need to get to $3. Like you need to get below $3. But for right now, for me, $3 is not feasible because if you check the prices right now, the whales want to keep it above $3. Literally every time we try to get $3.2, whales try to pump it back up. They are holding a little support line, just like in medieval times.
it does look like, we are pulling
Up and down is life. It's the same is going to happen in crypto, except crypto does not sleep on during the weekends.
back. People are taking
Stock market sleeps on weekends, but the crypto markets do not sleep at all, just like me.
profits. We could go a little bit lower, but I believe it's going to be short-lived. And it looks like XRP and cryptos are trying to develop support here. But the funny thing is, is Bitcoin is still holding very strong.
The thing is also like XRP is still holding new support levels. So basically think of XRP as it now building a foundation above $2. And if you want to break the foundation, you got to break the whole house down, right?
Holding very strong. So that is a incredibly bullish sign. It just shows that people were profit taking on altcoins, and not only XRP is down, but altcoins are down. So people are profit taking. And you guys would have gotten this sell alert on Algo Sniper. So make sure you guys check it out. It's in my video description. You guys can try today for $1 trade. That's why you need to be using a trading platform like Blowfin.
So yeah, I feel like this is like the end of the video. So you guys pretty much have confirmed that this is very normal. Miles G has been in a lot of bear markets, and he said this is normal. Again, there's a lot of new players who are very afraid about losing everything, about XRP going to $1. Yes, crypto market is more scary than the stock market, but it's not going to crash that fast, especially when unemployment is at all-time low. And this is another thing that I have been seeing with XRP Treasury. This is one thing I have been talking about that will really make people wealthy.
Could XRP be getting its own micro strategy? Are we going to?
This is what I wanted to see, and this is what we have been asking for. Ethereum has one. Bitcoin has one. Bitcoin has Michael Saylor. Ethereum has Tom Lee. Why does XRP not have a step-in hero, basically a father figure, to get its own treasury out there? Let's check it out.
See more XRP
Smash that
treasury
like.
companies. Well, we've got some news on a new one today that I wanted to bring to your guys' attention. Market pulling back a little bit, but to be expected given how hot we were last week. But there
is unlimited money in crypto. That's the good thing right now, is there is the money to supply. Everybody's trying to get rid of money. That is why apples are like $5, because people are trying to get rid of them. Of the money itself. They're trying to get more coins and less money. Money is not as valuable as it was 3-4 years ago. That's a fact, because then you could buy apartments, you could buy everything for cheaper. You could buy stocks at a discount. You could buy crypto at a discount. Now, you know, your money is, you cannot buy XRP for 30 cents anymore. It's going to be 10 times more.
try to catch a falling knife. I'm going to wait for things to kind of flatten out.
Me as well. Like, you got to wait during here. You can make some money shorting it. But again, you never know when you basically catch the end of the carrot, right? So you keep chasing the carrot. You might bite it off, but it might bite you back.
Strategy. Nature's Miracle unveils a $20 million treasury bet. And
now $20 million is not a lot of money in crypto, but it's definitely a good start to have its own treasury. So we're going, we're going to try to push for $20. Exactly.
This isn't the first company to do this. There are a few others as well. We're talking about $100 million, $200 million bets on XRP. Nature's Miracle, just the newest one. The company is going to acquire $20 million in XRP. Funding will come from an equity sale to GH Investments. And this may not sound like much on the surface, right? But for a long time, we only had a Bitcoin treasury company. The idea that we could have an XRP treasury company was just so foreign, right? It wasn't even a conversation. But now today, it is a little bit of a different conversation. I asked ChatGPT,
Again, it is in plans, but I feel like it's going to take time after September. But it's going to be a battle royale who will take the spot to sell all this XRP to retail. That's my biggest question. Who will be the main one? Just like MicroStrategy selling their Bitcoin to people, are we going to be seeing XRP holders buying from ETFs? And yes, it's very possible. It's harder to buy from exchanges. People don't want to do that. It's a long process. Sometimes banks start asking questions. Why want to buy XRP? Why not buy our bank stock, which gives 1% a year? And, when you buy an ETF, it's literally can be sold by a bank. So that's another victory.
Who are some of the biggest treasury companies? And they really couldn't give me like the list of companies per se, but these are some major holders. Ripple Labs holds over 40 billion XRP in escrow and reserve.
So yeah, they're holding 40 billion, but I feel like in the future, this might be burned.
Right? And they sell programmatically and over-the-counter to institutions and exchanges. We know that. Uphold has a ton. They've got a ton on their balance sheet. Fortress Trust, or FTCO, now offers crypto custody and treasury solutions, known partner in Ripple's enterprise ecosystem.
What I want to check is Ripple profitable now, or will it have to sell off like their tokens? So I feel like because they have a lot of partnerships and banks, they're going to pay a lot of money to solve their issues with transactions. Is Ripple profitable? Let's check on ChatGPT. That is my main question right now, because everything else, you know, if Ripple sells $100 million, of course it's going to affect price. So here is the real deal. Ripple was profitable in 2023 and early 2024. XRP sales alone generated hundreds of millions. Net XRP sales. Legal clarity helped them grow. So if they were profitable in 2023 and 2024, or like those two, quarter 4 and quarter 1, you know what this means? Hundreds of millions in revenue from XRP sales and positive SEC ruling. Again, this tells me that they're definitely profitable now because they're bigger now. They're stronger. They're faster. You know, so definitely means that XRP doesn't actually need to sell unless it's for investments. Maybe for the big companies, they can sell off their treasury to keep the company running. Again, you know, but I feel like their profitability, true profitability, is on the horizon with the new banks.
Tranglo uses XRP for cross-border payments, indirectly maintaining XRP in liquidity pools. Bitso, major Latin American crypto exchange, huge Ripple partner and liquidity provider using XRP. They're likely to hold some XRP reserves. iRemit is a Philippine-based remittance company. They maintain XRP for cross-border payment rates.
So yeah, Gcash, again, Gcash is used by everyone in the Philippines. Philippine-based remittance companies that, you know, they literally integrated cross-border payment rails. So, you know, it's not only going to fix in first world country, but also every single other country that basically has a very, very expensive banking. That's why Ripple can, when they have partnerships like that, which is used by 80 million people, 100 million people, and then you have like 30 million accounts, again, how many people can have this type of partnership? Not many, guys. And this is where the big money comes in my opinion. Like, this is where the good stuff comes in.
They maintain XRP for cross-border payment rails. And then Navati Group, Australian fintech working with Ripple, they use XRP in remittance corridors between Australia and Southeast Asia. CoinMe, US-based crypto ATM and wallet provider, they've integrated XRP, likely hold it on hot wallets as well. Not confirmed, but most likely. Catalyst Corporate Federal Credit Union, one of the very few U.S. financial...
Again, not just U.S. companies. You can see here, it's also XRP, other companies, anything XRP, basically. Anything outside of U.S. as well. They want to partner up.
Institutions to publicly acknowledge using XRP for settlement trials through RippleNet, but many more on the books. And once we get the Clarity Act passed, this is something I've been talking about for a while, I think the floodgates open. Not only for Ripple's technology to be utilized by the big institutions and the big banks, but also for people to invest in XRP through ETFs, right? That is how the institutions want to get in. Now, other potential institutional XRP holders include SBI Holdings. Here's a UAE-based mobile finance platform.
Again, yeah, you can see here tons of companies coming in, and then its own MicroStrategy, right? This is one of many. I don't know how many of these will survive. 20 million is a lot of money, but not in crypto. This money goes fast, right? But it means 20 million is available to someone that wants to buy, like retail investors. They're gearing up. It's going to be a battle royale because they're going to want to buy somewhere, right? And now they have that option to buy and get more.
From a long-term standpoint, given what we know and how many people are speculating on XRP right now and still knowing what's coming, like actual adoption. Tokenization of equities.
So yeah, this is the big thing. RWA, tokenization of real world assets, is going to be happening through the Ripple chain. And literally BlackRock, one of the most richest companies, is going to be working with them to go in and snoop it out, basically build something on their chain and bring billions and billions of revenue. Real estate, it's a very big thing. It's very complicated not right now. You have tenants, well, tough luck. If they don't want to move out, well, that's it, right? You can basically, you know, wait 6 months. But let's say, for example, you have like lots of costs right now. You can diversify this cost and only get 1/8 of the cost and also 1/8 of the profit by selling, you know, 3/5 of your apartment or 2/5. Let's say you have to only sell a certain amount. You don't want to sell the whole apartment and want to rent it out. You can put this money somewhere else, and it's literally a win-win. And you can put your real estate on the market and make money that way. And it's going to be much faster, much simpler. It's going to be, everything's going to be on chain. Again, technology is a big thing. Tech is a big thing right now, and it's going to be a big thing in the future with more people joining in, more people buying crypto, and everything being on transactions. This is the big stuff. Everything is getting digitalized. $100 is the new $10 of XRP.
Out there have been asking, bro, is alt season over? Well, I've got a few things.
So yeah, XRP White House, huge crypto announcement.
Oh, it doesn't look good, but remember.
Look, XRP was the biggest gainer, but also the biggest loser now. Am I scared? You know.
Frothy for ETH, XRP, and other top altcoins. All right, let's start looking at things a little bit different, because trust me, I understand. When you see big pullbacks of like 10, 12, 15% for some of your favorites out there, it can make you worry.
Historically, we are in the best session of our life right now for crypto to go up. Like, at least, you know, that's what the markets say.
Dave, is altcoin season over, just getting started? Well, check this out. All right, what I got up on the screen is the altcoin season index chart, okay? And as always, any article you see in this video will be linked in the description below. What do you notice, right? We've had a run up on altcoin season.
So yeah, altcoin season is a bit dropping, not quite there yet. I don't think XRP is gonna be quite there yet, but I think it's gonna be like, you know, starting in a sense. It is slowly starting, and it's gonna take some time. Yearly high was December 3rd, 2024.
Season, and it's kind of pulled back down. Okay, I get it, but zoom out a little bit and check it out. The market has tons of fluctuations, but this is the first time we've seen a big pump up in the alts for a while. So the reality is, the alts were due for some gains. Think of BTC. BTC has been stealing the show price-wise, so it's time for the alts to pump. So the alts pumped, but yes, people are going to take profits. This is crypto.
Yeah, so right now I feel like, you know, XRP might be the first one to take profit because it also had the most gains. Kind of makes sense, right? So why would you go for not something that's not XRP, for example? Like, where do you take most profits? The coin that made most money, right? And most other coins, they did not make money. So you go for the stuff that actually gave you the biggest allocation, right? So you can sell 25%. If you got 25% gains, you're back at the start. Anything else is a bonus. You took your initial investment out. You're a winner, right? And this can go for $10,000, can go for $25,000, can go for $90,000. Literally, the sky is the limit.
We've seen this plenty of times. Heck, I've been covering on this on YouTube alone for about 5 years, and I have seen this plenty of times. Every time we make a big run up, what do, everyone? A lot of profit taking happens. What else do I got for you? Coin Market Cap 100 index chart. Now, this is the chart since December of 2023. What do you notice? That's right, an upward trend. So
yeah, it is like we also saw this pullback in January 2025, if you check over here. And then again, recovered. As people were saying crypto is over, Bitcoin will never hit past 100,000. We are seeing the same situation right now, right? Where people are starting to doubt XRP, and even I doubted crypto, because crypto is such a fast evolving tech. It can literally happen overnight. You can lose everything overnight. That's the thing. And people don't realize that, is how much this can change in that sense.
Sometimes you got to zoom out a little bit. And I know. We pay a lot of attention to the daily movement of prices on here. And when you see the deep red on the screen, it's easy to freak out. But zoom out. Check this out. The altcoin market 100, right? The CMC, right, which has got some Btc Eth, also, you know the deal. I'll have it all linked down below so you can check it out. Was at $100, right, for the index. It is now at $240. And think, we had a big run up right here in November. Y'all remember that, right? And then what happened?
Exactly. This is when people said, okay, I'm taking all my bags and sold everything. Well, they got juked, because they would literally have doubled their money on XRP itself. So just consider that, how easy it is to, get swayed in crypto. Because again, there's nothing like crypto that you can compare it to. We've never seen in history of crypto something like basically in that sense. That's the issue. Never has it in history you've seen like a cryptocurrency go from a penny to 3.330x in less than 9 years. Maybe Nvidia, maybe, but again, very rare scenarios. And these are much more, you know, they're much more going up and down in the past few months.
There was a bunch of profit taking, and then all of a sudden, turn around in April, we start going back up again. So just zoom out to get that fresh perspective. The U.S. government still holds almost 200,000 BTC, as Arkham clarifies the U.S. market disclosure. Well, I did that with you a few days ago. Remember I shared with you the government wallet, and I said, yo, nothing to worry about because they still got the BTC in the wallet. Essentially, this article was 2 days late. I beat them to it. That's why you hit the notification bell.
So yeah, this was the big FUD that tried to get people to sell so they can buy crypto for cheaper. We saw that in 2021. We saw that in 2022. We're seeing that all the time. You know, if it goes straight up, something is wrong. Maybe the chart is broken. I'm glad everyone is back to banking money. If you didn't load up XRP sub 40, I don't know why. A lot of people were scared probably, you know, from the lawsuit. And welcome, Ricky. That's the issue. People are scared of lawsuits, especially from US government, because SEC does not lose. Has SEC lost? Sometimes. Now it has, but usually historically it doesn't lose. And if they would win, it would mean over for XRP. So there was still, I understand why people didn't buy XRP. I totally understand it because, again, if the winnings were certain, I guess they were like 60-40, but, you know, really they were 100-0%. People could just stock it up and send it to $5 already, right? It's not that simple. It's like you go in the past and it thinks everything's fine and you would make money, but then you see the past and see, it's 18 cents now, it went down to 3 cents, so why will it go to $3? So just let that sink in.
Subscribe button so you don't miss out. Now, Justin Sun and some Ave whales have withdrawn 1.7 billion ETH from the market. So were they telling us what was up? And again, if you...
So I just want to add something to this. Justin Sun is the founder of Tron Network, which is basically competitor to Ethereum. And he always sells Ethereum because he does not like Ethereum. And sometimes he uses this money to actually pump Tron, which is very funny. You know, this is like the biggest beef in crypto history, $10 billion beef. But this billionaire is selling Ethereum and staking it, crashing the price and putting it into his own coin. And it's a very long story. Maybe I should make a video on that. Both of Vitalik and, you know, they're awesome people, but it's nothing like we've ever seen before.
Look at the bigs. This is what I got up on the screen, right? ETFs, you could tell. A little bit of a downtrend here and then a negative trend for BTC on the 20th of July. So were the bigs telling us, yo, we got to go down on this action? And look, on the 21st, there was basically neutral action for ETH and negative action for BTC. So were the whales giving us a signal? According to reports, Mark Zell, an Ave contributor, said that he believed crypto billionaire Justin Sun...
Yeah, these are the big whales that are like dumping on you guys and buying for you. Again, some retail investors can help pump the price, but if you're a small player, don't expect like, you know, $10,000 to make a difference. This is not early crypto anymore. It's literally one whale sending the price up 3 cents or down 2 cents. You got to realize that. And once you realize that, it really gives you a peace of mind because, you know, you're going to be like, oh, if I put $1,000 in, XRP is going to go up. It helps, but it helps maybe like 0.1% because these whales can just sell everything. So welcome everyone. And thank you for smashing that like button as well.
Behind most of the ETH withdrawals. He said the Tron founder regularly moves large amounts of it in and out of lending protocols. Over the past week, a wallet connected to crypto exchange ATX has also taken out almost $500 million.
They're doing this crypto exchange HTX. I think this is like from the Tron, but they've been doing this since 2021.
Worth of ETH out of Ave. Oh, okay. So Justin Sun and other whales out there were what, everyone? we're taking some profit of Renos. And ETH, like we talked about, was a laggard, right? ETH was something that was like dead in the water, like what, a month ago? And then all of a sudden we start seeing it move. And then after it moves and gets the juicy profits, what happens? Yeah, you know the deal. Check it out. People sell it to put the money in their pockets because what's the phrase? No one ever went broke taking profits. Here's the 1 month chart for ETH. Look at this, okay? Look at this run up from ETH. $2,400 a month ago. And it got way.
That's because like the big institutions started buying in. They saw, maybe I shouldn't buy, hey there, Jenkins. Maybe I shouldn't buy Ethereum. Maybe I should just get, something else. Maybe I should buy XRP. Just remember this month, with Bitcoin literally passed up 3 months, but all these other cryptos passed up this month. Because now institutions are realizing, hey, free money on the table, undervalued, let's get it.
On up there, 3,800 and change. So like I said, zoom out. Does that chart worry you? No, but if you zoom in too much, this one does.
Don't stress too much about the prices, because as long as you don't sell, again, not financial advice, but if you sell, that's it, right? And that's what a lot of people do. And then they check the charts again, went up.
That stuff. This is what Brad said. Like clockwork, with success in market rallies.
Yeah, so there's a lot of, Brad is still very active on Twitter. But this is the big thing that I have been looking at. Policy will be made public on July 30th. Again, just in time for the Fed meeting. I will be streaming both. So this is the big news that people have been waiting for, that is going to skyrocket crypto at this point.
We're like, yo, okay, in day 30, we're going to do this. Day 60, day 90, we're going to do this. Well, guess what? We've got one of those deadlines.
Yeah, so they're literally, the government is going to release crypto goals for the next 180 days. Like, that is crazy.
Coming up. On July 23rd, hey, Garmin's telling me that that's today. I bring you breaking news while on vacation. July 23rd, Bo Hines, executive director of the President's Digital Asset Advisory Council, announced the long-awaited White House crypto policy report will be made public on July 30th. The document, spearheaded by Hines and tech entrepreneur David Sachs, culminates a 180-day review by the President's Working Group on Digital Assets, mandated by January's executive order. Remember, that was the 30, 60, 90, 180-day thing. The report is expected to outline strategies for maintaining U.S. leadership in digital finance, including proposals such as potential BTC reserves and expanded access to the Fed's payment system for blockchain firms.
So again, next 7 days is going to be probably the biggest bombshell we have seen in crypto. And yes, I definitely think bombshell, because we never saw something like that before. Again, governments talking about cryptos. They didn't even want to talk about it a few months ago. And now they're suddenly going to like do a full 180 and release a crypto report just at the Fed meeting. So again, July 30th, August, September, going to be very juicy. Maybe some big companies will be on vacation, but it literally seems like an insanely good news.
So now we're
good news after good news after good news.
Looking at this going, well, wait a minute. On July 30th, are we going to get a little bit of a nugget here in regards to the strategic reserve? Where remember, XRP, Sol, ADA, ETH, and BTC were mentioned. So in a week, we're going to be getting more information, everyone. Overall in the crypto market, what are we noticing? Volume's still way up there.
So yeah, even though the prices are down, even though that some whales have sold, XRP is still getting traded. So people are still trying to push it up today.
I know it's scary, but think about it. Zoom out. Look at this is the 1 year chart. Does that 1 year chart scare you? We've had.
It would scare me if it went from 3.1 back to $1. That's what would be scary. But again, 3.1 literally back to all-time highs. I guess 3.7 is very hard to sustain, right? So welcome everyone as well. And thank you for smashing that like button as well. I stream daily, every single day, no breaks or until I burn out. Tons of content in the news. Tons of good content.
Bigger sell-offs than this not too long ago. Check this out right here. We had a move. December 31st, XRP was at $2.08. Not long after, 2 weeks after.
We got to talk about 60 cents. Again, after election, 60 cents to, what's that? Like, let's be very, very conservative. That's like a 5 to 6x. In in like what, 3 months, 6 months, 6 months, 9 months. In 9 months, you literally got a 600% return. That's even more than Ponzi schemes. Ponzi schemes are literally giving you less returns than this, most likely, which is kind of crazy. And I'm not saying to invest in a Ponzi scheme. No. I'm saying that XRP is literally replicating something that has never happened in history of crypto. We saw cryptos go up, but we didn't see them being sustainable, right? So you saw cryptos go up, stay there for like 3 days, and if you were really lucky, if you called the top, if you weren't greedy, yes, you made your money. You made your first million. But again, this is what I've been telling you guys at $2. I've been telling you people don't sell at $2. People don't sell at $3. And now we are seeing people not sell below $3 ever.
XRP was up to $3.30. I'll say that again. We were at $2 and we went to $3.30. Then we went all the way back down to $2.32. We lost $1, right? So we lost way more than what we've lost now. Zoom out and look what happens. We broke those highs.
Yeah, that is not scary at all, especially with the new crypto updates. So yeah, good.
Yeah, we created new recent highs. So again, I think this is all about market perspective, and it's all about shaking people out. And it's about taking profits, right? That's the big...
They literally confirmed that, they will be making a crypto report. Will it involve XRP? If it does, expect, like a price increase. How much? I can't say on YouTube. I'm expecting like at least 10%. 24-hour chart. But again, not financial advice. I'm feeling like if they mention XRP in a document, oof, bullish. Bullish.
People, they get freaked out. A lot of people that get nervous and they panic sell. Or they sell and they rotate into other assets that maybe haven't had the run up just yet. So if you ever get freaked out, look at the trend. If that was one of the things in corporate that I remember, it was this phrase: the trend is your friend. And that
the trend is going up and more people are joining XRP. More money is coming in. XRP Ripple is finally profitable. All of this good news, and there's still, XRP haters. So if you ever feel bad about yourself, think about people who have been shorting XRP since it hit $1. Imagine how much money was lost by people who said XRP is never going to $3 and shorting it. They literally got liquidated probably their entire life savings. And some people like that, I can guarantee you they double down on it. So
right now,
there is another thing that we are seeing right now. Another video that I really like is markets melting because SEC will continue to screw XRP. Nothing has changed. Some blah, 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 blah. No ETFs either on the back of this. They delay the ETFs because they usually do that during the summer. So if you guys don't know, the reason why the crypto ETFs were delayed is for a very simple reason. Is because I guess during, summer, they can prepare more comments in September. And it actually goes well with regulation. I'll be happy if XRP can hold on to $3 during this dump seasons. We're talking about $3, and there are garbage coins that are 100% worthless and useless over $10. So, here we can see Jim Cramer. Literally, I think people want to own some hedge against the $38 trillion. They want it for their own kids. Cramer responded affirmatively, describing it as a nice hedge for what I'm afraid. I know we can grow way out of this. My hope is that we do, but I'm just very worried about my kids. Most new Bitcoin treasury stocks down at least 50% this year. Oh, that's bad.
For their strategic reserves.
We're still waiting for XRP ETFs. That would be amazing.
Most new BTC treasury stocks are down at least 50% this year. So even though MicroStrategy was looking juicy, the majority of the players out there that are buying BTC or what, everyone, they're down big time. According to BitBo, there are 43 BTC treasury companies.
Yeah, so a lot of people, they just buy their own crypto because like these treasuries, they probably have a lot of expenses. But in a way, they're also a good way for people to buy XRP if they want to. Like if they don't know how to buy through the exchanges. So that's something I'm going to be teaching people is how to get your crypto on exchanges and how to buy it, basically. How to trade XRP, that's going to be another one. So yeah, thank you so much. Smash that like button as well if you enjoy my content. You don't have to send me donations, but likes are always appreciated.
Launched this year. The number of new listings in 2025 is conservative compared to other trackers such as CoinKite's Bitcoin Treasury. Listen to the stats on this. Moreover, the majority, 23 out of the 43, are now down 50% before their year-to-date.
So how is this possible if Bitcoin comes up? That doesn't make any sense to me. So if it means that like a XRP treasury is coming in, are we gonna be, dropping?
Debt? You're a country in debt. Buying BTC doesn't get you out of this. But don't tell Sailor that because he's trying to orange pill everyone, and that's his only shtick, right? But what's the narrative out there? And this is why I'm sharing this with you. This is why I bring the news, good, bad, happy, or sad, and the truth, not hopium BS. The narrative out there is if you buy BTC, you will be saved, right? Kind of like what Kramer's doing about that.
Yeah, so I guess something like, just holding XRP on your own would probably make you more money in that way.
Risky business. This is interesting because think about all the articles that I've been sharing with you over the last several months. It's been all about this company's doing.
Yeah, so seems like these companies will definitely be selling more crypto through their own companies of itself. That's what I'm waiting for right now, is the companies coming in and selling XRP in a easy accessible way. Not right now where you can't even like add your card and then have to do so many steps to even sell it.
Stables, this bank is doing stables, this one, all over the place, right? We even did one earlier about Western Union. This is what Jack McDonald says for us. And for those of you wondering who Jack McDonald is, he's the Senior Vice President of Stable. Because
Ripple Executive, let's see the title. Ripple Executive warns stablecoin boom is not just a tech trend, it's a risky business. I mean, yeah, it is risky, but the technology behind it, that's the big thing that people are waiting for. Again, Ripple is doing its own thing and its own, it's trying to be the safest way you can own a stablecoin. It's trying to become basically the new Tether, but fully regulated and backed by US Treasury bonds. So again, there's going to be multiple utilities of XRP, not just one. They will try to have 3, 4, 5.
Stablecoin isn't a product extension or brand feature. It's financial infrastructure. And it comes with deep responsibilities, compliance, liquidity, interoperability, and trust. By the way, if you want to read this and any of the articles you see in this video, it's all linked in the description below. He goes on for a bit here. Really good read, though. If you want to read a good...
So, and whereas the branded stablecoins fall short, limited liquidity outside the brand, complex integrations with external systems. Again, yeah, there's a lot of problems with stablecoins. That's why we should let billionaires deal with these stablecoins, not like some random companies. I fully think that. Like, this is why XRP having its own stablecoin is good. Because it's going to learn.
Because imagine what happens once we get the regs like the Clarity Act or the Senate's version of the Market Structure Bill. Nature's Miracle Holding, a publicly listed vertical farming technology firm on Wednesday, that's today, breaking news, even while I'm on vacation, thank you very much, plans to allocate up to $20 million towards a new corporate treasury strategy centered around XRP.
So yeah, $20 million extra coming into XRP, but this is just a small fish in the pond. Again, when we see that, just think about how many XRP companies are there or XRP whales who never say that they're gonna, buy crypto by itself. So a very big amount probably.
The company stated that it will use proceeds from a recently improved equity financing arrangement to fund the purchase of XRP tokens with aims to treat the currency as a long-term strategic reserve. This decision makes Nature's Miracle one of the first publicly traded non-financial companies to adopt XRP. Freaking awesome, isn't it? According to release.
So yeah, I feel like it's going to be more and more coming. Like, this is just the start. There's definitely good news for XRP right now. Like, it seems bullish news after bullish news, and people are not complaining about the price drops. They realize that price drops are healthy in the market. If it goes only up, is what we saw with Squid Game token. It literally couldn't be sold, right? So everything got put in a big pile and you couldn't sell it.
The initial funding will come from capital raised under registration statement form S1 declared effective by the US SEC. Here is their press release, and this also is linked to everyone in the description below. Ho, boats and hoes, my guys and gals. So yeah, we got another player out there wanting to add XRP to their reserves. I'm thinking, and this is just my own personal opinion, I'm thinking as soon as we get the regs, more companies are going to feel comfortable, and then
Exactly as I said, more regulation is better right now. No regulation is scary for the companies.
they're going to start buying in. Speaking of XRP and price action, oh boy, are we getting tested. And I got to be honest with you. You know what pisses me off more than this entire move is we're watching a bunch of the market out there sell off, yet BTC is only down 0.6%. That effing sucks. Right now we're sitting at
Yeah, it seems like, the biggest gainers will also be the biggest losers. And when like a crypto goes up, you're going to see someone trying to get it at the cheapest price again, right? Because if they can just sell everything because they already made so much profit, they're hoping that it will go back down further. Everybody will sell and then it will climb back more like sky high, right? So because it went so much up, they're hoping for a huge falling knife trend. They're hoping that it will drop even more and then buying it back with millions of dollars. Again, crypto markets move very fast. When you have $1 million, you can lose money very fast, but you can also make money very fast. And that's what the whales are doing. They're trying to make that money by buying 1 million, 2 million at a cheaper price and selling it for higher. Sometimes they're right about the market. Sometimes people are wrong. You never know.
not just big volume with XRP, it's big volume across the board. Altcoin season's starting to slide back. Kind of obvious. Why? Well, when BTC is sideways and the rest of the alts are starting to poop themselves, well, that's how it erodes. And check out the heat map. Even though BTC is in the red, that down 0.65% is nothing compared to the rest of the market. So BTC didn't participate in this pump, but remember, it's also not participating in this dump. I'm going to think that over the next couple of days, we're going to have a really good idea what's going on with XRP, because think about it. We're at Wednesday. We know the weekends are usually heavy selling pressure action, right? And we know what.
So the weekends are probably worse for XRP because either we go sideways or the price literally drops to all-time lows. And, I don't like the weekends with XRP, not the wrapper, but actually the prices. The prices have been horrendous on the weekends because that's when the whales are not in the game. And usually that's when the prices drop because people sell it. If nobody's buying, if they're out with their family, you see people sell. And when you see people sell, you see people, the whales not buy back because they're not at the PC. They are, outside doing outside stuff, I guess.
Whatever, when the volume kind of goes down on top of that, you got some.
Again, you don't have traders. You don't have this potential. You don't have any meetings or Fed calls or interest rate cuts. But there is something else that I'm very excited for. That is very, 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 very huge news for all XRP holders. So we have been waiting for this for a long time, and XRP is now at 3.19. So let me just find this one. Everyone else is as distracted. Will we see XRP $600 overnight? Because someone I know very well has been telling me that XRP could be hitting to potentially much, much better prices, like $10,000. And I think that would be definitely nice, but, people would call him crazy and they would try to get him to admit to a hospital 5 years ago. But now I definitely think there's a chance that, $10,000, $1,000 XRP, it is hard. It is kind of crazy when you think about it. We can barely reach $4. But once you get the compounding effect, $10, $20, $30 is not that hard to reach. Like when you have $10 already, it's much easier to reach $20. When you go, the hardest part is getting to the first dollar, right? And look how fast we broke the second and third dollar.
There's over 300 million people that own Bitcoin, but there's only 2 million people that actually own XRP. Can XRP catch up to Bitcoin's growth?
Yeah, exactly. And it's 13 years old, but the issue is nobody wanted to buy it because of the lawsuits.
If it does, what could that do to XRP's price? We also have some new information from Digital Perspectives here about the DTCC and their plans to tokenize $100 trillion. Could XRP being used to settle that value? Also, Ivanka Trump is trying to tell us something here. There's a lot of people on X that say that she's trying to tell us about XRP. We're going to go through this photo, and I also have some information at the end that it looks like a spot XRP ETF is actually on the horizon. So let's take a look at this. Digital Asset Investor posted this picture, and I got intrigued. I wanted to better understand this data and this information, and so that's what we did. It says 0.02% of.
So yeah, again, a lot of people use XRP technology, but most didn't buy it yet. And this is where the big potential comes in. What we're seeing right now is a lot of companies using technology for XRP Ripple. And that's why Ripple is profitable. Again, this is good. So a lot of people who might be using it for daily transactions aren't even realizing that they're using the Ripple chain, or basically the Ripple technology, to make their transactions fast, and how much money is it saving them. So Ripple is literally helping both sides, and it's making money on top. So 0.02% of the world owns XRP. Again, a very, very small portion. Crypto is still very small when you think about it. 4 trillion. It's like out there, but it's very niche. It's very niche.
The world owns XRP. Everyone else is still distracted by Bitcoin. So I threw the information into Perplexity, and bam, we got some information and data. Let's go ahead and go through this. So right now, actively, there's about 6.6 million XRP wallets, but most of these wallets are inactive, or they contain dust, which usually means a very small amount of cryptocurrency. So these wallets probably are left over from somebody buying and selling something years ago, and they just forgot about it, or it just holds maybe 0.1%, 0.5.
The thing about this is there's also many big wallets that probably have tons of money and are not being moved for years already.
Percent of an XRP token. And so these aren't really active people. When you dig deep down on this information, you find that there's only about 1.5 million people to 2 million people around the world that own XRP. So this means only 0.2% of the global population holds XRP, 1 in every 4,000. So if you go to a sporting event and there are 40,000 people in that sporting event, there's only about 10 people in that sporting event that own XRP. Right? Those
probably even less. Like if you go to a finance convention, yeah, sure, someone owns XRP. But what about like someone that's a teacher? There's a much smaller chance. And this is the thing. Most people in finance, they have heard crypto, but I feel like most older generation, they just don't understand it, right? It's very hard to understand the technology behind it and how to buy it and how it works. They think it's like a virtual currency. They think it's like a stock. It's not. It's totally different. And, you know, just understanding, you know, there's some people who don't know how to use the phone, which is completely fine. You have to realize that once we get to educate the people on what crypto is, this is where a bull run could happen, the real rally. And I feel like 2026, 2027 is going to be like US is going to take a big stance on educating people on what actually it is and how you can make money and how you can, you know, make more jobs, because that's what US is going hard for right now. They're trying to get more of these companies right now to educate people. Education is going to be the big factor, because right now nobody even knows that XRP exists. If you're watching this, like we got 37 viewers right now or watchers, so welcome. You are probably a top 0.0001% in crypto knowledge just by watching this channel. And this is the big thing, is most people are not at that level yet to be even educated. They need to know the basics. They need to know what XRP is. They don't know what a coin is. So yeah, if you know that, you're probably like in top 1% of wealth, because you're watching on a phone, you're watching on a computer or TV. And this is the big factor that people forget. The world is so big, and that means there's a lot of transactions, a lot of money facing through. Most people still use their old phones, or they still use the old banking system. They pay with cash. When you go to Southeast Asia, you pay everything with cash. Now, in the future, everything will be paid with XRP potentially. And this is where the big money comes in. The big whales are betting on exactly that.
They're your people. How do we find them, right? Can anybody raise their hand that owns XRP? That's what it's like, right? We are far and few between. But I think the activity and the growth of the XRP ledger in 2025 is a sure sign that we're going to go from 2 million to 50 million in a blink of an eye. And
yeah, so what we have here is a compounding growth. Once you get to the first 100,000 people, it's the hardest. Over 100,000 people is much easier. Just like my channel, for example, it's going to be hard to get the first 10 viewers, right? But once you get 10 viewers, 100 is the next goal. And then 1,000 viewers, it's much, much easier. Same with likes. Once you have this effect of people joining in, they tell their family. This is the power of crypto. Just started crypto 2 weeks ago, not 6 grand XRP for long haul. I don't know nothing about it. I hope I did the right thing. Hope so too, but you can see right now on my channel, there's been so much information about, what XRP is planning. I used to be hating XRP because I didn't believe in it. I didn't believe in the technology. I believed in meme coins dominating everything. And boy, was I wrong. When the bear markets came, the whales played their game and they took all my bags. They took all my coins because I didn't believe in the long-term projects winning out there. And now I can see XRP is being rewarded for the 13 years of work. This is how life is. You're rewarded for working. And that's exactly what XRP did. It's rewarded now.
Owners, roughly 4% of the world's population, about 320.
Word of mouth gets by very fast because, you tell one person and suddenly 20 people come around. There's group meetups, and I feel like that's how crypto exploded, right? This is literally how Bitcoin exploded.
7 million people own Bitcoin globally. That's pretty much the entire population here in the United States, give or take a few million. More conservative analysts counting only wallets, putting the maximum around 106 million. So there's also some wallets that contain dust or are inactive, but there's really around 106 million active wallets, and that's that 4% mark. So looking at XRP real holders compared to Bitcoin real holders,
0.02%. Again, Bitcoin, 4% of world's population. Maybe they have very, very small amounts, but 0.02%. Again, this is such a small amount. Our brain cannot comprehend how much is that, but it's a very, very small amount of people who still don't understand it. And it's going to be, the reason for that being much lower as well is because it was delisted on all exchanges when the SEC lawsuit came in. So now with the all exchanges being available, people started to catch up to buy it.
XRP real holders compared to Bitcoin real holders, the share of XRP holders relative to the planet is very small. For every person who owns XRP, roughly 160 of those people own Bitcoin. Both asset ownership figures are inflated by exchange custodians and user owning multiple wallets. So, I have an account on several exchanges. Each one of those exchanges, I have an XRP wallet. I also have my cold storage wallets that I
So yeah, this is like estimated real holders is 1.5 to 2 million. Now, I feel like this is bigger because even the videos get 100,000 views. So that would mean, like every 10%. I feel like the amount of XRP holders in real life who have bought XRP is about 3 million people. So a small country, but it's still a very big amount. I feel like it's going to get bigger. I feel like it could be 5 million. But when you compare it to Bitcoin, again, Bitcoin has a lot of these holders who bought it and are never going back to crypto, who quit crypto forever. But XRP really has those whales coming back, that are going to be here for long term.
XRP locked up for, the long run here. And so one person could own 5 or 10 wallets just like that. Why the gap? Bitcoin is much wider recognized, broader listed, and adopted more of a store of value, contributing to a substantial higher ownership figure.
It was also hard to own XRP before, if it's listed on all the big exchanges.
Than altcoins like XRP, which are more concentrated among smaller group of enthusiasts and investors. Basically, you are rare, right? In my eyes, you are special, right? That's what I read here. And then I said, let's say that XRP.
Yeah, most people, it's much easier to buy Bitcoin and someone have it hold for you than XRP. It's because XRP is getting started. But it can catch up to Bitcoin. It also has way more potential. It's much harder to buy now, but I feel like, Bitcoin going to 300,000, yeah, it can happen. But if Bitcoin goes to 300,000, what's the XRP price going to be? Probably double that, $20. So, you know, let that sink in. Maybe it's going to be $25. That would be hella nice, though, wouldn't it be? It would be very nice.
XRP holders are able to catch up to Bitcoin holders in the next 1 to 2 years. How many people would that be compared to how many people there are on the earth? With this new influx of people coming in, what type of price impact could that have, or what kind of impact could that have? So here's some of the information and the scenario. Projected 2027 world population, 8.37 billion. Estimated global Bitcoin owners, about 338 million, 4%. If XRP matches Bitcoin ownership, XRP could see an increase from an estimated 2 million holders to roughly 335 million holders, right? Meaning about 4%. What would that do to the price? So let's go down here.
Yeah, and it's going to be very hard to get to 4%, but the prices would be absolutely like $30 per XRP. But then you have to consider also burns, you know? And then you have a lot more potential for other stuff with XRP. XRP gets more money because there's more investors, and it means they can expand even faster. Look what happened with McDonald's. Started with one shop and went immediately to 5, 15. Now it's 2,000, 10,000, 15,000, just because they have more capital, right? XRP is still getting started in that way. Right now they have 900 employees.
Increased demand for a fixed or slow growing supply typically pushes price higher. As crypto prices are influenced by number of holders, trading volume and capital flows, market liquidity and availability of supply, and investor sentiment and media coverage. Potential price scenarios like Bitcoin, if XRP's demand profile mimics Bitcoin adoption curve, dramatic price appreciation is plausible, especially if the network utility or institutional use cases grow, which we are seeing right before our eyes. Institutional demand for stablecoins, institutional demand for cross-border or FX payments, right? This is all something.
So yeah, this is just going to be a very small part. I feel like a lot of whales and a lot of retail people will not even realize they're using XRP blockchain. It's going to be much, much bigger than that. Is XRP the new better Bitcoin? The technology is better. The thing is, Bitcoin will always be the first, because even though XRP came a few years after, so like 6-7 years, Bitcoin is always the first in the market. And that's where it's going to win, right? But XRP is going to be used by all these technology, banks, all of that. So that's going to be the next big thing that people are waiting for.
That banks and institutions have been looking to speed up and save money for quite some time. Enter XRP and other types of ISO tokens. This is how they're going to be able to move value at the speed of light instantaneously for under a penny. Analysts and AI predictions for XRP under optimistic adoption and favor.
Again, $45 to XRP. I feel like when we get that, it's going to take some time, because 4% of the world's population, like to get into that, it means like Bitcoin would be need to own by 10% of the population. So I am aiming like at $10, $15 is a realistic long-term plan. But to get over that, you're going to need to see more. If you want to go to 10,000, you're going to have to see burns. But in theory, it's possible.
In summary, it just gives us, what we were just kind of going through.
The issue is when you have $10,000 XRP, of course, like whales will be selling it like crazy, like butter. Because if you got it for like $1, $10,000, whoa, like that's or like $1,000 means that you made 1,000x. So literally millionaires are made, right? But the potential in theory is there.
Also want to take a look.
Will it happen? Maybe not. But $15, 15x, 5x from it's not that off.
Looking at how much XRP is, XRP is right now by 2 million people. If we did jump to 100 million, or even to where Bitcoin is currently, using the data that we already have today, what would the price of XRP be? And here is that information. Current, 2 million, circulating supply, current price for XRP, market capitalization. Scenario 1, XRP holders to increase to 100.
Again, this is going to be very hard to see theoretically 10 trillion. But again, crypto is such a baby right now. It's so early that we are the 4 trillion market cap. So for the whole market, so if Bitcoin goes to 1 million, if you believe Bitcoin can go to 3 million, then definitely XRP will be following it like a baby brother.
And for example, in our case, our focus right now is bringing $100 trillion worth of assets that DTCC is responsible for on chain. Many folks here may not know who DTCC is and what we're responsible for. We're the principal record keeper for the U.S. financial markets. So we are all publicly traded securities. We hold a principal record keeping role. We're responsible for T+1 settlement. We're owned by the major banks and institutions. So effectively, we're a DAO for the U.S. financial markets. We're determined T+1 settlement is not good enough. We're really looking to take advantage of real-time settlement from blockchain rails. And it's our responsibility to bring those assets into the market.
The DTCC processes, they're the infrastructure for the US when people are selling like stocks and bonds and these types of different securities. Okay. They are the premier. They clear $3 to $4 trillion, quadrillion dollars per year. And so they're working to tokenize these assets and of course bring them on chain. There's multiple patents.
Again, where will they go on chain? They will go to XRP. So yeah, definitely very bullish if you ask me.
That the DTCC has been working on. Actually, this gentleman in particular here has been working on. And
there is so much money in the market and it needs technology to run. Again, when you go to like, I don't know, an office, you see everything is made out of paper. Paper is slow. Paper costs a lot of money. Paper can be lost. Now they are offering tons of money to not get the paper lost, basically like important documents. Let's say you have your land deeds right now on a piece of paper and suddenly the government loses your land deeds or title deeds or whatever you want to call it. And suddenly, if you had this on the XRP or NFT, potentially blockchain, you could literally open it up and you could transfer it to your family member. So you could give your family member that he will inherit like a piece of this NFT, which means he will basically hold the title land in the future, or you can sell it to somewhere, or you can give it away, and everything's going to be on the chain. So that's why I'm so bullish on tokenization. I've been literally learning about it 2 years.
Those, they include like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, HBAR, XLM, and a few other tokens. I think it was like Flow, Tron, and I'm leaving one out. I do apologize, but those are the assets that they have been most focused on. So you start to look at those assets, right? Bitcoin, are they going to use Bitcoin for this? Probably not. Too expensive, too slow. Ethereum.
Look at that. Ooh, that's so fast transfers. Again, like technology is coming in faster and faster. The thing is, Ethereum, they're building as well, like BlackRock is, because it's like the stable, decentralized. It's not bad at all. Transactions per second, 16, right? So it's not bad. But when you see XRP, it has the potential to hold millions and millions of people. This is where it really scales, right? But Ethereum is still working on it. Look at that. 1,500 transactions per second for a cost fraction of a penny. And this is scary. Imagine how many transactions could go through here. Entire quadrillions and quadrillions of money could be flowing through here.
Ethereum, yeah, I'd imagine Ethereum is going to be used at some scale here. XRP, I mean, do you even have to ask that question?
Like XRP is leading right now, but Ethereum is always going to be, with BlackRock, which is one of the biggest companies out there or the biggest institutions that believe in Ethereum, believe in the technology. Again, there's not going to be like when suddenly XRP gets all these partnerships that they're going to destroy Ethereum. I feel like both are going to be, in a way connected. So it doesn't have to be one or the other, can be both.
To me, of course, XRP, XLM, HBAR, I think those are three huge catalysts. Oh, BNB was the other one. Those are three huge catalysts that I see being used. Remember, this is a US infrastructure. They're going to want to use companies, right, that they know that who they're working with, right? And Ripple has been in the United States since the beginning here, and they have worked with.
So yeah, I feel like US is going to prioritize, of course, Ripple, the US based company. So that's where it wins.
The DTCC on several different areas, as well as the DTCC, the former head of the DTCC, Donald Donahue, he left the DTCC to go work for Ripple on the board. So there is a ton of connections that I've shown on this channel between the DTCC, Ripple, and XRP. And of course, I just wanted to put this information here, just like the claim, Digital Perspectives made this claim that DTCC will tokenize 100 trillion worth of assets in the blink of an eye. Ripple acquired Hidden Road, who recently received approval to help settle over 2 quadrillion that flows through the DTCC every year. So there's that Hidden Road connection as well that is connected, of course, into the DTCC. So you start to think, hey, is this our shot? Like, is this what we've been waiting for? Is this what we've been learning?
Like these big transfers, once they get through, they're already, working on partnerships. We're just waiting for the US partnership, to be honest.
And studying for? Is it this moment right here? You start to think like, man, the next few years are going to be insane, right? Maybe we don't get all the adoption we think we could get, but even
so, yeah, it just came in early. Like these things take time, but at the point we are right now, it's looking very, very bullish.
if we get, 5% of it or 10% of it, man, that could be insane for our future holding XRP. Now, going to this Ivanka Trump photo, she posted this photo, and can you see here in the photo what people might be saying? Hey, this is an XRP. This is a thing for, people to warn them that, this is a hidden message about XRP. Well, they're looking at this X here on the
That's actually very funny, but most jerry cans have that, I guess.
gas can. So, I don't know.
But the thing is, Trump literally did meet with Brad Garlinghouse. That means something. Definitely, right? You meet with Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of XRP, you're not going to be talking about McDonald's, right? The president of the United States. Probably cost a lot of money too. So Brad Garlinghouse is probably going to try to move on how he can help US because he's already saying we're helping so many other countries. That's a jerry can. I have 6 of those exactly. Like this is a wild, wild reach if Ivanka Trump is gonna like collab with XRP Army. That would be an amazing collab though. Don't get me wrong, XRP to $5 after that, but man, it's gonna be hard.
Complexity. And I said, hey, does this X on this gas can mean anything? Is this, normal? And so the truck shown is a photo of a vintage classic pickup, likely from the mid 20th century. The gas tank attached on the passenger side on the running board marked with an X.
Yeah, this is much reaching. Like we have so much content with XRP that we really don't need to be reaching for jerry cans basically here. Crypto markets are gonna pump, but yeah, that is too much for me. But we do have another one just in urgent July 30th, and I want to do a deep dive on it because I've been reading a lot about July 30th, and people have been saying July 30th is not an important date. It's one of the most important dates in crypto history. That's why I'm going to be streaming over 12 hours for that. I'm going to be streaming probably at least 10 hours. So yeah.
Line, it's over.
July 30th, guys. Remember, smash that like button. I'm going to be there. When the government announces we're going to be part of crypto history, and you're going to be here with me. We're going to be cheering it together. Again, we're all a big family.
I made it. And look at the market. I'm sure that you're seeing that we're having.
I'm not worried at 3.21, and I wasn't worried when XRP was 30 cents. So why should I be worried now? It makes no sense to me. Again, if you're worried about, XRP dropping 20 cents, I don't want to be rude, but the issue might be that you're worrying too much about the prices when it drops for maybe like a few $1,000s, right? Because most of us on this channel are in for the long term. They're not here for the easy gains. We're not here to be here today and sell it for 20 cents profit. No, reaching sky high, at least me. I can't say for others, but me, I'm reaching sky high. I'm holding until, sky's the limit. That's the crypto motto. But, everybody has their own finances and everybody has their own goals. Some people are going to sell it at $5. Who knows? Some people have $15 million in XRP and they literally made $5 million. I saw the transactions, right? So anyone can sell at any time.
Released crypto report on July 30th, which is from.
This is the big news. 180-day report, 6 months plan. And this is exactly as I was telling. And I am right again. And I'm very happy about that because every time I talk about this, I am usually right about the crypto markets. And this time I was right about the US government making a 3-year plan for crypto. Again, Trump is going to be long time in the election. He will not just go back to sleep next year. He will stay here and talk about crypto until he makes tons of money probably with it and makes tons of money for the market as well. So there is going to be a huge win out of that.
Oh, Hines, President Trump's long-awaited crypto report is done and set to drop next week. Let's go. XRP fam.
Imagine how many like politicians gathered up to talk about this report. Probably many, many, many.
Look, this might be 3.21. You might be like, Oscar, oh no. What's going to happen? Are we actually going much lower? No. Wait a second. Look, we've been doing really well. My Pango is down too, but I'm just holding the line, right? 3% at tier.
Again, if you look at 3% and 9%, it's just a small dip. But the big news is, Bitcoin dominance. Of course, we're going to be seeing some correction when we see XRP getting announced on July 30th. Again, the big date I am reaching for, the big date I am excited for, that my family has been probably waiting for, that my future kids will be probably asking me about when I'm a granddad. This is going to be the big thing. Again, this is the first time crypto history has ever reached anything in terms of government regulation. Again, we got shut down 2019, we got shut down 2018, we got kicked and destroyed every time in 2018, but now 2025, everybody who has been waiting is back at its game, is back and getting stronger than ever. You can fight and you can kick me down, but XRP is still going to be standing up. Even if it's at 2 cents, even if it's at 30 cents, it can survive. And I think I really respect XRP for that. I respect the markets.
And it's to keep dropping. As soon as, if it keeps doing that, it's just going to help everybody holding altcoins. Now this, I'm waiting for it. President Trump's working group on digital assets has completed the 180-day report. It will be released publicly on July 30th. Guys, I'm coming.
This is what I was telling you. US is literally trying to rush a new crypto legislation, and it's coming. It's coming in a way we don't see it ever before. It's coming faster than anyone expected. It's coming because every single day the US doesn't release this, they are losing millions and millions of dollars. I'm not joking. They're losing millions and millions of dollars of companies. They're losing millions and millions of dollars of tax money. And that's why they're rushing for the US to be the #1 crypto hub. And again, we're going to be seeing more of that pretty much soon.
Back on July 30th. So on July 30th, the FOMC is going to be, so much is happening on July 30th. I will say, get ready, guys. Honestly, be mega ready. July 30th.
July 30th, again, 6 days from now, or like a few days. If you're made, you all be crypto blessed. This is the big thing we have been waiting for. Crypto is definitely growing at this point, and it seems like that we are getting news not by September. I thought I will have to make some content up, and I thought I will have to make some stuff up, check for news, look bits and scraps. But it seems like that we are getting so much news every single day. I really enjoy my work, and I'm going to be, talking and streaming about that on that day as well, because in 6 days, we're getting another update from the government, and then another, and then another, and there's going to be many more. It's not the only one.
Same. XRP has reached critical support level, the only line that matters now. So some pretty good TA from different, analysts and community members right now. Not bad at all.
I feel like a lot of these, analysts and things like that, they're never prepared when the markets drop. They're already saying, yes, it's bullish, it can hit $4, but then you see a big market drop just like a few days before that.
If XRP breaks $4, I'll give one random follow. That's classic giveaways. I get it. And CC has approved the Bitwise XRP ETF.
But then it got delayed. That's the issue. Like the XRP ETFs, I guess they will be back in September. Again, US government and SEC are now completely different entities. They're completely different things, and they make completely different decisions. So people are still waiting for the ETFs to arrive in that sense. And they might wait a bit longer because they might be coming out in September.
It's not going to be this spot yet, so we're waiting on that.
But again, another bullish news. Will it pump XRP to $4? Probably not. Will it pump XRP, 40 cents? Potentially, yeah. I definitely think it could. I think it's going to enable people who haven't bought XRP yet to buy it, or to buy it easier. I think that's the big thing. Like a lot of these ETFs, they're made for the retail investors who don't know how to use the exchanges. Like if you're watching my videos and my streams, basically you already know like the basics of how to buy XRP, because if you're holding XRP, you didn't buy it through an ETF, I'm guessing, because most people cannot right now. So what you did is you already know the basics of using a crypto exchange, and most of your peers, most of your friends don't know how to use that. So that's why the ETFs are on here.
There's some, people already saying a bunch of updates, but still have to wait a little bit more for confirmations, just to give you an idea, because you gotta be careful with X. Everybody says a bunch of things, but
there's a lot of bad stuff happening on X, like a lot of misinformation from what I've seen. And that's why I don't cover X news a lot, because we are seeing, good news, then we're seeing bad news, and then you suddenly find out it's not real. Like every single day I saw and we will get XRP to $10,000, or Dubai is investing in XRP, stuff like that is not confirmed. So I want to keep this channel like fully 100% factually true, because that's one thing that I was very annoyed in 2021 is with Shiba Inu. You couldn't trust any source of news, and there was so much fake info. This time we're gonna go 100%, and we're gonna actually, when I tell you it's 30th, it's 30th. It's not going to be the 5th. When I tell you something on this channel, it's going to happen.
Sometimes it's not true, so just keep an eye on that. As for me, guys, if we come back to the price of XRP, let's do that right now. I will tell you, I'm not thinking about cashing out any at 3, because we were at this level.
And yeah, if he's not thinking to cash out at 3, it also means the whales will not cash out at 3. So it doesn't make any sense for these big whales. Again, you can see the red line here, which means they have already sold. Those who are out of the game have sold at 365. And because they have been waiting years for this, right? So there is one thing that really gets me excited about this is how much potential is it to reach higher. If we can see 365 so easy even before retail coming in, just imagine where we could go from here.
In January, then we waited 5 months all the way to July to finally be at this position. I don't think XRP is going back to $3 to just...
Yeah, it could hit $3, but not anytime soon. Again, if the regulation is good, everything else is good.
Drop and go down all the way to $1.90 or $2.
The issue is
XRP is gonna take some retracements with all
the issue with custody is most people can lose their tokens so fast.
The news that are coming out for crypto, and of course Bitcoin dominance going up makes total sense. But this might be just a scare, a easy bull trap as it comes up.
Again, imagine how many got liquidated. Now ask yourself, who gets most of the money? Who gets most of the money when someone gets liquidated? When the prices go down, when you say XRP is going to go up, and the whales say the prices go down, and they sell all their XRP, who gets the most money? Number one is exchanges. They have to take a cut in commission. Who is number two? Big whales. I feel like it's all planned. I feel like the whales are playing their game and they are seeing easy money because the prices were going up. And now they're suddenly, oh, we can actually make $1 million. And that's what they do. They made $1 million. They waited for here, dropped at the 365. People tried to rally back during the weekend. Again, weekend, not a lot of activity, not a lot of Koreans trading. But a whale decided to liquidate and open a short position. It's a double win. You can make a lot of money that way, especially on a day like Tuesday, Wednesday, not like a huge trading day.
Take some corrections and it could actually continue going back up. So I'll be watching, guys. I'm not really planning to sell. I'm not really planning to make any big adjustments, FYI. We're going to go to Cointelegraph, see what the latest they have for sure, because there's obviously gonna be more and more
is always
info
good.
Coming our way. Like Jim Cramer suggests buying Bitcoin as a hedge against debt, saying he's worried about his kid's future.
I hope Jim Cramer mentions XRP.
Well, everything that he says don't really take it for granted, right? He always changes.
Like, look, more countries are entering. Again, these are the countries that are going to profit most from XRP. Inflation is very high. When you send bank transfers, it's very expensive. So what will these countries do when they see a potential technology that's fully clear of regulation? They will go in and they will say, inflation is high. How can we save people money? By basically lowering transfer fees, right? And XRP will do it for cheap. Again, such easy money on both sides.
All the time. And mentions Robinhood launches Ethereum and Solana staking for the United States customers, which is not bad. And look at this. Vertical farming tech firm Nature.
I saw this XRP treasury program and talked about it. I feel like 20 million can get erased very fast in crypto, but this is something you need to know about XRP. Austin Hilton, again, 50,000 viewers, but there is something very important he said about XRP that has actually shocked me a lot.
Guys, I'm going to let you guys in on a little one of my rituals. So I live about 20 minutes from Buc-ee's here in Texas. And so one of my favorite things, and you'll see there's Buc-ee's. Yep. Okay. So one of my favorite things to do is to come up here. They have great breakfast tacos, brisket tacos, and coffee. And so I will come up here and have a breakfast. I do this maybe a couple times a week. And I get gas because it's easy to get in and get out.
I feel like with the gains he has right now with XRP and ad revenue, he has probably thousands and thousands of dollars. He can eat out every day. Isn't that perfect lifestyle that people want in XRP? Like, everybody has their own goals. Some people want to buy their own farm. Some want a nice apartment. Some want to spend it all on drinking, and it's completely fine.
What's coming, what's not coming, all that in this video. Before I get started on that, I've started a brand new free newsletter early, and he's 17. So I'm going to get him way more runway than even I had. And so, look, you're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. And I realize this is basic, guys. I realize it. But sometimes we all need kind of a little bit kick in the pants, a little bit of motivation, a little bit of like, okay, this is what the reality of the situation is going to be.
So yeah, I feel like a reality situation, $5 XRP, if it can go to 3.5. Like, people are saying the top, but then, you know, people were saying that the top for XRP, like all these price predictions, they were saying the top is like $2.7. Literally, when you open XRP price prediction and you saw $2.7 and you were like, okay, I'm happy with that. And then we saw $3.65. Again, nobody knows what the top is going to be. It could be infinite. It could be literally that the government is going to replace XRP for the dollar. Again, it's a non-zero chance, but there is a chance there.
There's good news coming.
So that is the crazy thing about crypto.
All right. So you're going to have periods where we went through one for 200 plus days. XRP traded between $2 and $2.50. It was just consolidating, boring as hell. And everybody, and all the haters were jumping on, it's never going to do anything, all that kind of stuff. And then, boom, it went up 80%.
And this happens to a lot of cryptos. It happens to SHIB, it happens to XRP, it happens to XLM, it happens to Bitcoin. But, you know, I don't know if this will happen to XRP again, because there's so much news right now, either good news, bad news, and that's what really makes it, you know, exciting in a sense.
In about 20 plus days. Right. Okay. But that's the point. All right. Is that you need to understand that that's how crypto is. Crypto is massive volatility, massive gains in 20 days, 80%. XRP went up, you know, in 20 something days. XLM went.
Again, no other crypto can do like 80%. Like Pudgy Penguins, which most people didn't expect to grow. But that is the crazy, crazy thing about crypto. It can literally do a skyrocket 180 from 3 cents, 30 cents. The lawsuit is over. Election starts, goes to 60 cents. Okay, people sell out at 60. Goes to $1. Okay, people say, okay, sure, it went up to $1. I don't care. Goes to $2. Now people are starting to miss out, right? Now people are afraid that when it went up. And then you can see XRP. Now at $15 at a very high price. And that's when it's too late. That's when institutions are already buying in.
For a while, it was like 80+% off of its all-time highs. Almost every single major crypto asset outside of Bitcoin was like 75 to 80% off of its all-time highs. there is so much volatility in crypto, and I call it a roller coaster. Crypto is a massive roller coaster ride. It really is, guys. And you've got to be okay with that roller coaster. You got to be okay with the periods of like euphoria. Man, we're running hard, and you got.
So there are going to be months for XRP when it's going to be, stuck between these prices that we're seeing right now, between $3, $4. It basically means that some of the whales are buying it for a cheaper price and maybe selling it off. The thing is, this is like an iceberg, right? Sometimes you get caught out. And when you get caught out, you get destroyed, you get wrecked because all of these people have sold it already and the price goes up. So they lose, $100,000, $2,000 or $300,000 because they're trying to make these easy gains, small profit, and they end up losing everything.
Got to have a plan to take profits and all that kind of stuff. You got to have your act together, okay? But you also got to have a plan and be okay with those periods where everything's consolidating, it's boring, it's not doing much of anything, and you got to have a plan for when things are going down. Your plan for when things are going down should be not to sell, should be to be buying. Should be to be? Yeah. Should be to be buying. There you go. Okay.
I feel like a lot of people, they ask themselves, should I really buy at $3.5? And then should I really buy at $3.2? I'm seeing institutions buying. That's the thing. I'm seeing, big institutions who still feel like there's money to be made buying hit 2 million of it. And that's where the real money comes in and where they feel really excited to get those, even if it's 10, 20% up only. For them, it's a lot of money. 1 million of 10% of 1 million is $100,000.
And consolidating periods. Why not buy? Why not add to your bag? It's boring. That's what most people are like, maybe I should sell, whatever. My point is, I just want you to understand, and I realize, guys, this is basic. I'm telling you, this is basic. But a lot of us forget. A lot of us panic and we sell on those red days. And then we buy on the massive FOMO green periods. You should be doing it just the opposite. Well, I know that, Austin, but are you doing that? Seriously, challenge.
Or maybe the alternative that I can add in, you can also just hold. Sometimes it's okay holding because it's very hard to time the market. Now, this is something that if you know how to time the market, you can literally make $100,000 a year or more. But how many people can actually do that? I'm guessing a very, very, very small percentage can actually know, okay, XRP is going to go top at 365 and it's going to go back down to 3.22 and then it's going to go back up and I'm going to be trading in these levels. No, it's not easy to see that. People are saying, oh, you should sell it high and buy it low. You can never know when you're going to be caught holding the bag, basically. And I feel like a lot of people don't make that very clear.
Yourself, are you doing that? Are
good.
You stepping in and buying on those red days? Believe me, it's hard. Dude, I bought Bitcoin when it was 20,000. Remember when a couple of years ago it dipped down? And I'm going to tell you, it was hard for me to push the buy button because at the time I was fearful that Bitcoin was going to go to 10.
I remember that, yeah, because everybody was fearful and everybody was saying, why buy XRP at 20 cents? It's never going to go back to, $1. But look at now. Look at it now. The unemployment rate is best in the world. And that's where you're really rewarded in the markets. You're rewarded with time.
Like, man, I don't know if I should buy at 20. Gosh, it's going to go to 10. Because that's what everybody was saying. Everybody was screaming that Bitcoin was going to go to 10 grand or lower. But I'm like, all right, I'll buy some at 20. I look like smart guy now. I mean, relatively. I wasn't here way back when I could have bought it for 100. I wish, oh my God, I wish I would have been there. But the same thing's been said for XRP, right? How XRP rolls. I was there. I bought some XRP at 25 cents. I mean, I did. Did I buy it at a penny? No. I have friends who did. I have guys that I know who did. Again, I wish I had done that.
I remember when XRP was a penny at 2016 and I missed out on it. And now I made sure that, I will give news to people who have not missed out on it. I think it's a very important factor is you can never fully predict the market. So if you feel bad, I missed out on a XRP when it was a penny. So yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know it was going to hit $3 and you can never know that. That's the biggest issue in the crypto market. Sometimes you win the markets, sometimes you lose the markets. But yeah, when you do day trading, be sure to be very, very careful, because you could end up selling it at a very good price point, and then suddenly, just like that, boom, your bags are gone, right? And you could have made $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 more, right? And you get destroyed. So people are saying it's gonna get bad for XRP. People are saying everything is gonna be over. They're saying, oh, this is gonna be, like the great crash of the great crypto.
What was it, 65+%, something like that right there, right? Yeah, 65%. This is to be expected. This is the tide, the ebb and flow, the roller coaster ride. I actually did a video on this yesterday talking about the fact that you can't freak out, and not that you're sitting there freaking out about a 6% move down.
Yeah, so everybody missed out on some big gains, and it's totally normal. Like, everybody's talking about their gains, but they never talk about their losses, And this is the big issue I see in crypto right now, when everybody's boastful, I made this and that on XRP. But when we see gains like that, we all forget that, in the past, you couldn't have done this perfectly.
The overall market's down 1.4%. Now, we're still at $3,880 billion as far as how big the overall market is. But you can see Ethereum's down 2.6%. Now, we've got a little bit of a mixed bag. Like BNB's up 2, but Cardano's down 6, Dogecoin's down 7, Stellar's down 5, Chainlink.
Again, all these cryptos that you saw grow, they are gonna fall just as fast. The thing is, this is the big rich player whales taking their bags. XRP at that price, 50 cents. I missed out. I didn't understand it. It finally got courage to buy it at 190. That's still a good price. 190 is gains. I didn't buy it. I would have bought probably at 1 cent. I would have bought maybe $1,000. Would that be $300,000? I don't even know if I would put $1,000. Maybe I would put 100 and it would be like, 30,000. Would still be nice money, but it wouldn't be life-changing money. So always remember, take your profits. Don't invest too much. And again, you don't need to trade. I am doing day trading because I do it every single day. But here is when people are holding and watching the news and checking what happens when you are informed, that's half the work done already.
I think we could get to maybe over $4 by the end of July. Now that's if, for an XRP price prediction, if
I feel like XRP, people were saying it will never go past $1, and I got kind of bamboozled by that, because people were saying it's gonna go crash to a penny because of the SEC lawsuit, that it's gonna go bankrupt. And I believe that. I'm foolish for believing that. But if I didn't believe that, I would have probably never learned the expensive lesson, a multiple $1,000 lesson. But that's the thing. Right now, XRP has no lawsuit in sight, so the sky's the limit. When you had a lawsuit, the lawsuit could literally destroy your token. It could literally dump it to a 0. Now, XRP, with no lawsuit, it can literally stay in the ranges that it deserves. $3, $5, $10. It's never seen that in history, so it doesn't have to follow, past history results if it can literally reach the sky. So all the technology, all the regulation, nobody wanted to work with security before, but now they can go ahead and work with that.
$10 is going to be the lowest we will see XRP by the end of the year. We could see XRP up over 20 plus.
So he's saying XRP is going to $10. Now, end of the year, I'm not too sure, because there's still going to be the regulation inside, but I see like this year and next year, $8 is not that crazy. Again, guys, market cap of Ethereum is not too insane. $7. I mean, we saw XRP going up from $2 to 3.31. What else? Like, where the sky's the limit here? When the governments come in, they are literally saying they're going to be putting multiple billions of dollars into XRP. And yeah, it's an uncontested bridge to finances. Right now, it's winning that battle.
Dollars by the end of the year, all within the context of, for this XRP price prediction, of the entire crypto market rolling up. Okay, the XRP can't do it in a vacuum. It can't do it by itself. It has to roll up with the other major crypto assets like Bitcoin.
I feel like if Bitcoin goes up to 150K, you know, it's going to pull up XRP as well. And Ethereum goes to like 5K, 6K. Of course, XRP will be pulling up. It will not just stay behind. People will be buying XRP too. But there's also the possibility that when we saw this year is when XRP went alone, like a little baby step, you know, it went up from 50 cents while Bitcoin and Ethereum were growing, but XRP outgrew both of them. So that's, you know, something not to think. Early days told us in public to invest in crypto. I never forget. That's the thing. Trump is bullish on crypto. Have you ever had a US president bullish on crypto since 2013? No, they were all bearish. And this is where the big baby money comes in, right? I'm very much hoping so. We never had a president try to push regulations so hard. So we are probably going to be seeing much more than that.
And Ethereum, so forth and so on. Okay, that's just how it works. All right. So again, I just wanted to kind of stress this to you. If we click on this, like, why is the market down here? Let me see what this says. This is AI generated from CoinMarketCap. So let me see if there's anything here. Profit taking. Oh, I've been talking.
So yeah, this is what I told you. Profit taking. Senate crypto bill draft introduced, sparking debates about oversight. Like, this is not bad news at all. This is good. I feel like that's good. Altcoin leverage unwind. Ethereum, Solana, XRP future open interest, 44 billion, creating fragility. Again, a lot of trades are probably good for the markets. These are already like all priced in. So the news you're seeing here with AI, it doesn't really know what it's saying. But when we go on our channel, we take that deep dive, we see why the prices are down.
About that. Gosh. Regulatory jitters, Senate crypto bill draft introduced, sparking debates, oversight. Yeah, I'll call altcoin leverage unwind. There you go. ETH saw XRP futures open interest, 44 billion, creating some fragility, things of that nature. Let's see. Yeah, the regulatory things out there. That doesn't really surprise me. That doesn't really surprise me. Okay.
I mean, the regulatory oversight, it's already going to get accepted. People are worried that it will not get accepted in the Senate. This is the biggest issue. Like commodities and SEC, clarifying rules long-term, concerns about stricter enforcement. Again, it's just politics. Overall, this politics can stop overnight. And then you can have, you know, the Senate basically approving it already. Trump is pressuring for it. And when you have Trump, you know, pressuring it, because he's very invested in crypto, in my opinion. I think he has a few million of dollars in crypto, if not you know, he probably has $500 million. So if 500 million and crypto market goes up 1x, this means he's basically a billionaire. He made $500 million. He probably has much more because he has companies as well. So just look at that. XRP just in. Golden XRP. Look at that. Moneymaker Avi. I love this guy.
Showcase what the beep is going on with XRP and the altcoin market. We'll talk.
I mean, this is totally normal. Like, look at this. Seems like it's going down a bit, but XRP on a downtrend line literally shattered from 340 to 330. Lost 10 cents in like an instant. Again, this tells me a whale has cashed out, you know, but that's completely fine. Whales deserve to sell. If they want to sell at 350, they can sell 350. But they come back crying when it's $5 and then it's too late.
Minus almost 10% on the day.
Some of these whales, you know, they literally sell at 350, buy back at 319. It goes back to 350. Imagine they made like 10, 20%. So they made 10, 20%. They have, you know, $10,000, $100,000 position, they made $10,000. Have $300,000 position, made $30,000. Easy money for them, right?
Holy bananas. XRP broke through all the support levels and came down with a whammy. All right, we saw a big sell-off here, you know, cascading sell-offs, liquidations, and rolling over. But what's interesting, you can see Solana down 8%, Sui down 8%. So it's not, you know, HBAR 10%.
Again, it just follows the market as always.
It's an altcoin.
But who knows? Like this could literally change forever and rally overnight. That's what keeps me up at night. Like if this rallies right now, would be very nice.
Today is the high point, like yesterday or the day before was the high point. But maybe I'm wrong about that. Let me know in the comment section. What do you think? Do you think we hit already the high? That's it. Altcoin season over.
Like people are saying, no, this is definitely not true, because like if it was over, why would the government just get started with regulation? Like literally, this is the breaking point for crypto that we are seeing right now. We're seeing crypto probably, going to the moon, or at least seeing a lot of volume. There is no issues like 2015, 2016 that we saw for crypto. And the whales who have sold, I'm not too worried about the price crashes, because it's literally healthy correction. You just need one whale buyback.
We can, take a vacation now until September, or
I feel like, if you take a vacation until September, you're going to miss July 20th updates. You're going to miss all the government updates. That's the thing in crypto. There's really never vacations, because you're going to see that it can blow up overnight. It can literally skyrocket overnight. Most people don't realize that, how much it can make a big change.
is this just, 1 day or 2 days maybe that we pull back a little bit because people are freaking out and there's a little bit of sell-offs and profit taking and rolling liquidations and things like that? 59 million liquidated on X.
Again, this is a lot of whales leaving the market and probably money changing hands. So when you do 61 million liquidations, this means only one thing. $61 million went somewhere. They didn't just go evaporate. So they went back to exchanges. They went back to the whales who said the prices will drop. And people who are right, again, look at this. Shorts 26 million, shorts 24 million. So people lost in last 24 hours $600 million, right? And this $600 million went to people who said the markets will drop. So they made a lot of money from that. And once you realize that it's a big whales playing the game of crypto growth, it's easy pickings from there.
XRP in the last 12 hours. So, and 93 million on Ethereum. Bitcoin only 39 on the long. So longs are getting wrecked right now.
That's what we always see. Like the people who open longs when they see the market is good, we always see some sort of correction, because this is when the XRP whales are going to take their profit from traders, make that money, and then they're going to get back into crypto basically. And once they get back, they will buy at cheaper prices. They will be happy. And it's a win-win for them.
But again, if we have a comeback or we pull up a little bit, then there could be shorts that are getting squeezed a little bit.
So again, like look at this. This is like a very, very strong downtrend. But again, look at this barrier, 320. One whale decided, no, you will not mess with me. And they immediately bought back everything to put the price from 316 to 321. So this tells me that the whale has entered at the price of 316 and has now been in profit ever since. So it definitely shows me that there are some whales that are, saying XRP will go above 3.2. And that is very bullish. That is what most YouTubers don't talk about. They only talk about the bad price crashes, but they don't talk why it happens. On this channel, we actually go full into depth. And I tell you what the whales are doing, where they are coming from, and why they are so strong right now, what they're buying.
We'll see what happens. Again, I'm not a prophet. I don't know exactly.
But yeah, I don't know either. But the thing is, when we look at these whales, when we look at charts like that, it just tells me these green candles are very, very strong. They're very, very long, which usually means it's whales buying on these prices. They're buying on the prices going up.
Where the market is going to play out today and how it's going to end up, or where we're going to end up the end of the week. But we're a lot higher on XRP than we were a few weeks ago. We were at 216, 194, right? So we're a lot higher. We're not at the all-time highs, but
you don't need to be always at all-time highs, but this is a pretty good barrier to basically so XRP can take a breather until July 30th. July 30th is the big plan that a lot of people have been talking about.
Highs are all-time highs for a reason, because they're the all-time highs, and then sometimes they get broken, sometimes they don't. We'll see. Okay, but we are seeing a potential golden cross here for XRP. Could this spark the next XRP rally? It's kind of funny talking about that when XRP is down almost 10% today, but we have.
This is why I don't believe XRP price predictions, but we did see some indicators of these golden cross rallies basically before. So it's like a 50-50. It's like going to a fortune teller and the fortune teller, telling your cards. you kind of take it serious because it's very broad, it's very like, general. But in the other way, you just don't believe it, right? You kind of go on your own way, and usually nothing happens.
Seen also with Bitcoin, if you remember, we talked about how it also had that golden cross, and which is the 50 MA moving average crossing above the 200 moving average. And when that happened, we saw actually a 10 to 15% pullback on Bitcoin, and then it rallied, right? So I think it happened somewhere around here, and then Bitcoin dropped around 10-ish%, right? And then it
10-ish% is perfect. Like it's kind of a discount for a lot of these whales. Like they will just decide to buy at a very, very cheap price and then buy it all back. And again, sometimes it's to make money. It's an easy way to make money. If you saw an opportunity, if you were very rich, I think a lot of people would do it as well.
rallied. So XRP just dropped 10%. Does that mean that it's time to rally? I don't know. But this is usually this is a very bullish sign. It means that there's positive momentum over, a long period and short period, and then you're getting momentum from
The biggest breakout I see is the government. The government could really save XRP's price at this point. Especially if we see the government confirm anything about XRP in the documents. Documents plus XRP, definitely very bullish.
the 50, which is, the short-term movement. If we go to the indicators, the technical indicators, you can see the short-term is actually, the 10-day is actually saying sell because of the pullback today. But all the others outside the whole moving average, which is also a short-term average, is saying buy. So the 20, the 30, the 50, the 100, and 200 are still saying buy.
So yeah, long-term is still saying buy. That's the important factor that, Moneymaker didn't explain here, Avi, which is a very important factor. But yeah, on the short term, yeah, it might drop for a few more days. Again, this could be 1 week, could be 15 days, could be up by the time you're watching this. But the important factor is long-term, definitely still bullish. Nothing changes in that matter.
Strong buy on the moving averages. But again, this pullback here today is a little throwing things off a whack. So again, continual volatility in altcoins. The ones that can potentially make a lot of money can also lose a lot of money. I've warned about this before. We have to take that into consideration. And XRP, because it's gone up so much, it got into the altcoins, right? It's not with Bitcoin and Ethereum, because Bitcoin and Ethereum also have the ETFs, which
I kind of like that Ethereum and Bitcoin are very different to XRP. Kind of should be like that. XRP having its own rally, and when it goes down alone. It kind of makes sense. Wouldn't make more people buy it too. Doesn't make sense like to buy Ethereum and Bitcoin if it goes same price as XRP. Should be literally different because it's different technology, it's a different community. And here's where, having this potential for XRP hits sky high. So yeah, I'm definitely very bullish for it to rebound. But again, not financial advice, not legal advice, but
XRP.
Right now, XRP is being talked by everyone around the world. So it seems like it's the #1 talked crypto, even more than Bitcoin. So when it's more talked than Bitcoin, again, it's literally bullish. It couldn't be more bullish than that. Being more talked than a cryptocurrency that is owned by about realistically 300 million people. So yeah, it's very bullish at this price point, and this is why I see XRP still having massive potential, is because we haven't seen fully retail investors yet in. So once retail investors get in, then I might be thinking, is this the top? But again, we haven't seen retail investors. Most of you guys buying it still own, tons of crypto, other crypto probably other than XRP. So smash that like button if you're new to this channel. I really appreciate it. And let's watch. If you hold any XRP, watch now. They sold. Who sold? No one knows what it will be that. No one has a crystal ball. Exactly. We can watch it, the indicators, but then nobody predicted the prices there today. The nice thing about XRP though is we can speculate based on the big government stuff that's coming out. And I've been talking this about for 1 month now. And every single time we have something like that, it's either, spiking shortly after. because of the institutions coming in and crypto regulation. They literally are too afraid or cannot buy yet. But the second that opens, that's like a big faucet of water coming through.
It's potentially undergoing its final dip for investors to get in before we see full send mode end of July going into August and all of Q4, September, October, November, December, you name it.
Exactly. So I think the biggest, in my opinion, my prediction for when XRP will change the most is in July. Like August 1st is not going to be that much happening, but September, by September, when the office is open again, where the Fed, starts looking into this Senate bill and everything like that. These are the big things. Yesterday, everybody's saying it was going to Pluto, and now I'm more lost than ever. These corrections are completely normal. That's the thing. Like, we are seeing 10%. It's just that nobody can predict when it will drop 10%. Obviously, we're going to know that it's not going to be at, $60 tomorrow. But the issue is you don't know when it's going to drop, those 10% to have a correction.
Now, in today's video, you need to make sure you understand what price suppression actually means as people are selling their positions. Big whales offloading their positions to bring...
That's what I've been calling big whales, big XRP whales. What they're doing with the money, we don't know. But what we do know is they're selling on the market. And here's why they are selling right now.
The price down, scare the small investors, maybe like you and I, that are only investing a few thousand or even tens of thousands of dollars into XRP. And this is actually the moment that we double down and continue to buy the dip and do not panic, do not fear, because at the end of the day, the analysts and the experts are telling us that XRP, buying it right now is extremely cheap compared to where it's...
That's what people are saying. But again, when you look at the prices, it's, all-time high historically speaking. It's never been $350. And, once it was $350 before, 3.5, it only stayed there for 1 or 2 weeks. So that's something that your pop forgot to mention. And that's something I wanted to add. It only stayed for 1 week, 2 weeks before it dropped back to $2. Then it couldn't sustain $2. It dropped back to $1, couldn't sustain $1, went back to 30 cents. But now we are seeing crypto literally exploding, and we never saw in history of XRP ever being at this price point and staying here. That's why I'm super bullish regarding technology. Technology getting a green light basically as well.
Going to be at the end of 2025 and going into 2026's final rally before potential correction. Now, remember, as always, never financial advice, just trying to put you guys on the plays that I'm in. If you're new around here, smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm to show this video to more people, and also consider subscribing to the channel. Let's go ahead and dive in. First and foremost, the overall market is undergoing some price.
So yeah, this is the market from before, I'm guessing. But yeah, obviously the meme coins are going to take the first hit. And let's try to find XRP here. XLM 7%, HBAR 8%. I feel like the US companies, the crypto companies, are going to be the last to fail, because Trump will not allow crypto companies to basically fail, because they are basically the bread and bone of crypto itself.
Look at the monthly, look at the yearly, look how far we've come in the last 12 months. And always remember, slight dips on the way, because look what happened here. Even end of 2024, we went to 271 all the way down to $2.08, followed by a rip to $3.38. Same thing now. We rallied to a new all-time high, retraced all the way down to $3 earlier today and 18 cents, 15 cents, maybe even 9 cents. And now we have come back up to 323. And this could be the beginning of a leg that we haven't seen in a long time. And again, the experts are telling us, guys.
So yeah, look at the same prices here, 3.5. You see here price drops from 3.70. You see it actually rebound for a few days, right? Same for 2.35 or what it was. We're seeing the same. It has to consolidate, only after it got some rally, right? So some people have sold here during this small dip. They were saying this is the top. We're never going to go higher. And then you see here, bam, another spike. What happened here? Look at this. Same scenario, $2.7. We can see the prices drop again, stay even. When it was before, you could say, oh, I could have predicted that it could have went higher. No, it's very hard to see that, right? But when we can see the charts before, you can see the same spike drop and then a rebound. You can see a rebound is already underway or has happened already.
Make sure that you understand that buying 1,000 XRP with $3,000 or $3 per coin now is insane, and you are lucky to buy cheap. This isn't something that we should take lightly, but instead embrace and understand what this could mean for XRP.
The question is how much XRP will get burned. If more gets burned, that will be definitely great news for anyone in crypto.
Future. XRP commentators are highlighting how good of a deal early investors got when they purchased XRP at a cheaper rate compared to its current value. Following XRP's recent surge to $3, several community figures expressed that accumulating significant positions is
which community figures? I didn't have anyone say owning $1,000 XRP is a good price. I mean, of course, it's a good price if you bought $1,000 of XRP, or 1,000 XRP for $3,000, because now you made $600. I think I don't know one person that wouldn't like that trade offer.
Becoming difficult for most retail investors.
But now you only made $200, or maybe you made $300. Like, the markets can change very fast.
Owning 1,000 XRP is now difficult for many because a lot of people don't have $3,000 to their name. Maybe at 50 cents, you were able to get 1,000 for $500. But that's what people are trying to say. But make sure you know this: XRP's incredible performance. Meanwhile, some investors reflected on how a portfolio of 1,000 XRP was initially worth $500 or less.
So why is it like really lucky to get it now if he could get it for $500 a year ago? This is what I don't understand. Like, he's saying it's better. Like this article, not your pop, which I like a lot. He was saying, oh, you didn't get it for half a cent, so you are lucky now to get it for $3.50 or $3. I really don't understand, because it doesn't seem to give any analysis like on this.
In the past year, when the price was hovering right around 50 cents. But here's where things get interesting.
Before XRP's latest rally, several community figures, again, didn't link any sources on that, would love that. Again, looks like a nice article, but would love some sources because it would make better content. Emphasize the need for investors to accumulate 1,000 XRP before October. I guess that's because of the big government update that we are waiting before October. He didn't say before September. I'm guessing because it will take some time for it to get into regulation, right?
If you go down and read a little bit more.
Okay, so it actually does list the people. Farina suggested that with ECB's Christine supporting financial institutions shift to digital cash, like quadrillions will get moved in crypto. And that's the big thing that I'm seeing right now.
While early investors have locked in some profits, and that's what we're seeing today, early investor profit taking.
Again, these investors have bought at a penny or 20 cents or 30 cents, and they have bought way more than $1,000. They have probably bought millions and millions of dollars from what I am seeing. So let that sink in.
For 1,000 XRP at a bargain prices, experts like Dustin Layton believe that they could see more gains later this year. According to Layton, investors holding 1,000 XRP should prepare for a minimum profit of $50,000, meaning not a $5 or $10 XRP, $50 before year end. This $50,000 valuation is a minimum return of $46,400 if you invest into XRP today.
Minimum profit of $50,000. So if we're going to have $50,000, XRP will need to hit like what, $15? Way more, right? Because it's just a 5x.
Particularly for
so she's saying 1,000 XRP at bargain prices. I mean, if you didn't get it $3, you could definitely see 50K increase, because if you bought it like what, very cheap 20 cents, you could get a lot of XRP for cheap. Minimum return of 46,400. Like, where do they get this analysis? For investors who invest roughly 3,600 to acquire XRP today, they will make $46,000. Again, it doesn't make a lot of sense because whales are selling it at lower prices than that, right?
Investors who invest roughly 3,600 to acquire 1,000. Today, to get 1,000 XRP, you need $3.23 times 1,000, which is $3,230 at this exact moment at the time of this recording. But guys, nearly $14 billion of
14 billion volume, but 200 billion market cap. And this is what's making me bullish. 200 billion market cap is not that insane. Like, check at NVIDIA stock, it's 4 trillion. NVIDIA stock, again, it provides, chips a lot, But if we even get 25% of NVIDIA, so like 1 trillion, that's a 5x. That's $15. So it definitely seems possible to get like 1/4 of NVIDIA, especially as more money is getting printed in this world. More and more money is getting like circulating and going around here. So I think it's a very important factor that you guys have to realize is right now, yeah, it might seem crazy to go to $15, but 1 trillion is not going to be that hard. Literally more and more millionaires are made every single day. 50 years ago, it was very hard to be a millionaire. Now it's much, much easier.
Into tomorrow, market open on Thursday and Friday. Then we consolidate over the weekend. We know next week we have the Federal Reserve coming out and Jerome Powell talking about what they're going to do for interest rates with the federal funds rate and what to kind of expect in terms of hopefully a more dovish soft landing where they start cutting rates as soon as August. September is probably the earliest, but
I feel like they have an announcement on 30th. Wouldn't the Fed announcement be in 6 days? So Fed rate cuts 2025. They just announced one for July, didn't they? Independence under threat, says economies. Next meeting, and they're saying 25 basis points. So the next meeting is which is the biggest point for crypto. Yeah, the experts say also cut interest rates in 2025. And then I'm seeing like ton of news on when the next one's gonna be. So yeah, pretty much shortly we're gonna be seeing months away. Dovish move from central bank is likely months away. Good.
With the federal funds rate and what to kind of expect in terms of hopefully a more dovish soft landing where they start cutting rates.
I mean, we're lowest employment rate in history, unemployment rate. So why wouldn't it go up at this point?
As soon as August, September is probably the earliest. But if they dare do it in July, we will absolutely full send. And I think we should.
30th July. That's going to be the main fun factor.
Expect gains like we've never seen before. This from the Motley Fool. Why XRP is sinking today? A lot of people are asking what's going on. So ETF delay, one notable piece of news.
Again, I don't agree that you can get 46,000 that easily. I think you can get 3,600. So if it hits 1 trillion from my prediction, you get let's see, it says return of 46,000. So it literally needs to go 5x. I feel like the return can be 15,000. Again, it's just a very, very high price that people feel like, oh, it will get to 50K. It's not that easy to make that money in crypto, in my opinion. Again, I could be wrong, but based on my history of crypto, I've been kind of right about that. But, XRP can surprise me. I hope it goes to $50. That would be really nice.
September is probably the earliest, but if they dare do it in July, we will. Interestingly, the Division of Trading and Markets at the SEC gave Bitwise accelerated approval for the ETF.
I feel like this is already priced in. Like so many people have heard about that. I mean, it's not a shocker based on how much good news we have. This shouldn't drop cryptos at all. So many cryptos will get approved. If ETF got approved, what's saying that, Bitcoin and all these pudgy penguins won't get approved? Literally Ethereum got approved, XRP got approved. All these cryptocurrencies got, approved anyway. So it's just a matter of time.
With direct market exposure to those cryptocurrencies like XRP, instead of just getting stocks that indirectly give me exposure through indexes. But to each his own. Should you buy stock in XRP right now? See, this is the kind of verbiage we're seeing via the
Now, this is where you can't really make prediction. If you invested $1,000 at the time of our reclamation, you have 641,000, right? Because they were saying to buy Netflix, or if you bought NVIDIA when it was $1,000, you would have made $1 million, right? But this would take 20 years, and for Netflix and NVIDIA, and you would have to buy at the lowest point. XRP is not at the lowest point right now. So let that just sink in, that if you invest $1,000, you will most likely not be a millionaire. But will you make nice gains? Yeah, it's very much possible. But this is not a great comparison, because this is saying if you invested at the lowest point where they had an initial coin offering for XRP Ripple, when Ripple had an initial coin offering, yeah, then you could have been a millionaire, right, with $1,000. But here right now, what I'm seeing is we're still some way ahead.
Always be prepared, not surprised. Overall, people are excited.
Like people made gains. Like there were people who are millionaires, and there are people who put like 200,000 in XRP and made like 50,000 today.
$40 billion. And of course, as I mentioned with XRP, we're over 13.97, nearly 14. Ethereum's 24-hour trading volume at 4.
So yeah, it seems like XRP is the most traded right now, and it's definitely going to be in the future, near future. So I am really, really excited for where XRP goes from here. Seems like it could go possibly more up, but again, could it go more down? It's really a question of what the whales do. Whales need to decide if they want to sell it or not. Let's check what StockMo is saying right now about Ripple. So look at his portfolio. How much of this is XRP? He's holding some amount of XRP, so he has 236K. That's very brave of him showing that. You know, loves to do that, but he's basically a multi-millionaire. 2.4 million. That's pretty crazy. But he's been holding some XRP as well.
And I had it all called perfect here for those who are watching. I knew based on all my research.
I love stock mode. Like, it's like he's very transparent with trades. $2.4 million is like a dream for most people, right? For like 99% to have 2.4 million in the trading account from XRP would be definitely amazing for a lot of people.
Doing the big beautiful budget, their numbers that they were going to destroy earnings, and they did. They did. They had their earnings call. They said we beat every estimate that the analysts had out there, almost every estimate. And then they came out, and guess how it got me? They said, but forward guidance. I'm telling you, I hate earnings calls because they're not earnings calls. I follow everything. I know is, oh, we're mooning, we're this, we're that. Or do you want to follow someone who actually knows what they're doing? Files of Ethereum. And I truly, truly believe them. We'll see. We'll see. And so I'm pumped to be a part of that, and I'm going to continue to DC.
I feel like, you know, he's reviewing his stocks here, but the biggest question is XRP. Where is XRP going to go? Because XRP is right now the biggest gainer, more than any of these stocks, right? And that's the biggest news we have. XRP could literally never flatline like stocks. That's the thing. The markets are always moving. Weekend, Wednesday, your grandma's dinner. It's always going to be growing, and it's going to be growing stronger and faster. And that's what really keeps people talking about XRP, because look at stocks. Which of the stocks are most talked about? Wall Street Bets. If you go on Wall Street Bets, it's literally the most traded ones, right? Those are the ones that are pumping. Those are the meme stocks. Meme stocks are going up, down, left, and right, and it's fun to trade them. But here, we are seeing basically XRP following the same patterns, getting more people back on board.
We're getting back down where this might retest 50 and then bounce off of there. So in other words, the main pain may be over very, very soon.
That's what he's saying. Like XRP has the potential to just get 3 small whales to move this price. Again, the market cap is 150 billion, so it's not that insane. It's half of Ethereum, so you need like a few whales, like 5 small whales to really move the price. It's much, much bigger than it was before, but it's not, it's still moving a few cents in just a few minutes. And again, a lot of stocks cannot do that, a few cents in a few minutes. And that's where really XRP and all these cryptos have the advantage. They're being traded by the big whales, and they're being traded in very large quantities, and that they're making the most money because the stocks move up and down.
For this sell-off, I'm just letting everyone know. You can see the warnings that we have been getting. I set the stop. We moved down. Now I'm buying back in because anytime I get between the 13 and the 50, I love it. I love it. For a play, I like
30 and the 50. So he's basically saying anything between above $3. And $3 is a big price point. It's like a psychological price point for a lot of these holders that a lot of people don't realize that they will not sell below $3. People have been telling me on the chat in my live stream if it goes below $2, they will buy. But this basically tells me that it will not be $2 for a long time. It might be $2 in a bear market, but nothing points out at a bad bear market right now, at a recession. Everything is pointing out green as the grass. So it doesn't seem like somebody will want to sell it to you for $2. in my honest opinion.
To be in, this is how I like to do it. Sell high, buy lower, ride it up. Now, timing it it's difficult, but not impossible. Now, we move to Ethereum because you guys know, like I said, I've been buying into BMNR and a little bit of some other positions over the last, I'd say, 556. I'm not.
So again, look how it moves same as Ethereum. It literally goes in the same pattern.
So that's the update there. The RSI.
It's still following other cryptos. I think sometime in the future, once it gets like its own partnerships, it's gonna start, pumping off, like breaking off Ethereum, going off in its own charts.
It's still too hot. I've been telling you it's gonna sell off eventually. It's not if, but when. That's the way crypto is. And the thing with crypto, when it sells, look at this. It's like 10% in a day.
You never see that in stocks. You only saw that in crypto. But then the gains are much better, 90% in the day. That's what I'm talking about. Again, like people look at the gains. 10% down, I'll take 10% down any day if I can see 80% up. But if you take me 50% down, and 0% up, that's when I'm going to be mad.
My XRP price prediction is that we'll be at 450 to 550 zone by the end of January 1st. We'll say January 1st.
450 to 550. I think that's definitely possible. People have been calling for the top at $4, but we already almost reached the top, and the top is not like right now. It's not super hyped yet. It's not at its peak yet. So I think 450 to 550 is definitely very possible. Ooh, that would be very, very nice though. 450 XRP. Again, not financial advice, but the price prediction 450 is when retail institutions come in and the big, beautiful bill. Like all these crypto bills and regulations in effect.
I believe Ethereum also will be between 4,500 to 5,500 as well. And Bitcoin 125 to 150 zone. These are my normal case scenarios, just to tell you. This isn't my bullish, my bear. This is my normal price that I still have as a target. And I believe we're going to hit it. I believe this.
I guess if it gets more bullish, it could go even more up. That's the thing. I would definitely be excited. Today was huge for crypto. This is another one we are seeing right now. Like $4 would be, very, very nice. I think it's $4 is the new minimum. But then I feel like it can go way, way up than people expect. It just needs like one rally. So Lexite crypto.
I'm never going to sit here and say I love red days unless I'm actually accumulating. But I will say what we've done in the charts is something that was essential. Times did we
this one ADA USDT? So he's been ADA trading.
Talk about this daily stochastic RSI around the space being in this heavily overbought range, right? We sat there.
So yeah, that's the thing with Cardano. There's too many tokens of it, right? From what I understand, there's way, 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 way too many. With XRP, people are saying it's overbought, that it will fall off. And people are kind of expecting that, right? Because when something goes up, it's overbought. Everybody's in profit. They want to take profit, profit, profit. Cardano has still not reached its all-time high rallies yet in this bull cycle, and it's waiting probably for better regulation. The thing that's going to save it is it's in a US-based company.
It was one of the longest continuous periods of time that we really hadn't had a cool down. Of course, there's going to be a cool down. Of course, there's going to be profit taking. And what we in fact did around the crypto space was come back down, retested a lot of support. Almost any chart you look is going to show us testing support, bouncing off of it, and closing candles above support. For example, just a couple assets I talk about every single day here on the channel. Look at this. ADA came all the way down to about that 70.
Again, this tells me the big whale is dipping it, and he's selling off a very large portion.
8-cent level, like we were talking about, bounced above there, closed its daily candle above support. That's a pretty darn big deal. Shiba Inu. I was hoping that it was
like, look at these whales selling off all these meme coins, and then XRP still kind of holding strong in a way.
Bounced off of that, closed our daily candle above trend and outside of the 20-day moving average.
The good thing about SHIB is some whale bought like 100 trillion. So they have still a big whale backing that's going to save them.
Take a look at XRP, for example. Came down, didn't even touch its 20-day moving average, bounce, higher close.
That's what I'm telling. Like XRP right now is trading more on social volume. So basically people talking about it than anything else. So it is literally talked about so much that it ignores the normal like crypto price trends and what's going to happen, right? It just follows what it wants and what people say about it. Because if you have everybody talk about something, if you have everybody talk about elections, of course the elections are like very, like of course the president that gets talked most about is going to win. Same for crypto.
In one day. That's a huge deal, because what that now gives us is a lot of room to actually extend back to the upside. Just for some context, last several times where we made extensions from those ranges, you guys can see ADA ran basically from
made a good prediction
55 cents or so. And I guess you could really chart any.
The issue with these coins is they don't follow like XRP. They don't have as much hype, not as much volume. See how every time a community tries to push it back up, it falls down a bit. XRP does not have this same pattern. Again, this is just a small price chart, but this is since May. So try to go for another rally here, drops down. Tries to go for another rally, drops down further. And I would be happy if someone can correct me in the comments, but that's what I'm seeing right now. It's like Cardano is missing like the same community that XRP has. Like it has technology, it has some technology. I don't know much about that, but I feel like it's missing like the core elements. And that is like what really pumps, crypto prices in this market. And that is community itself.
And actually BTC now, over the course of basically this last week, has basically gone full reset. So we just set the market up for a pretty big rally ahead. Not even.
So yeah, the thing with these cryptos can be saved is they still have like the 2017 prices. And that is where really, XRP could be going strong. And not XRP, I mean, what it's called, Cardano. Cardano is stronger in that position because it's literally so low, it can bounce off like XRP. So that's my opinion, like what it can really be saved at. And the US government stepping in and regulating it and seeing the technology and basically giving it like a side job, like to a Cardano. So like let's say a side job would be, for example, like XRP is going to do all the banking and Cardano is going to do all the other payment processors. I don't know, for Subway, for the Subway train. So that's just a random example. There's obviously a lot of utility for Cardano, but this is one of the things that really makes you think, like, why has Cardano fallen so much from its grace, right? When XRP has went up. So yeah, I feel like that is going to be the saving grace for Cardano here more than everything. But Luckside Crypto has been making a lot of content about it because there is potential. It's just like under-tapped, really. And you got to ask yourself, it's a lot of risk if it comes back ever. But it is out there. It is out there and it can come. Let's talk Hedera HBAR. Let's make a quick video on that because it's a US-based company. And again, US-based companies I have been very bullish on.
The media several times that HBAR is one of his established positions. In fact, recently he said that HBAR is one of the most underrated cryptos out there. In this video, I wanted to go.
A lot of US companies are right now, like US crypto-based companies are very underrated. So smash that like button if you haven't already. Really appreciate you, everyone. But it does seem like HBAR and XRP, they're the main breadwinners in this bull run. I'm calling it right now.
Go ahead and show some of the videos that the famous Shark Tank investor Kevin O'Leary has gone ahead and said about not only HBAR, but the crypto industry overall. So without further ado, let's get into it.
That one, most underrated crypto project right now.
Oh, that's interesting.
So Kevin O'Leary, which is literally a billionaire.
I would have to say, but I'm talking my book here. I think HBAR is going to be big. I really do.
HBAR, that's one in our portfolio as well, and we're
but
very excited about
I own it, so I have to disclose that. But I think it's going to be big.
No.
It may not be.
Literally a billionaire buying cryptos and being open and transparent. So that's the thing, is crypto companies, like they're gonna have the favorite pickings, right? The best ones are gonna be picked out and gonna go to the moon. The other ones might be left behind.
The best platform, but because it's so adopted globally. It's slow, it's got issues, but it's still not.
Like, if you can fix those issues, the thing is, like, XRP has fixed 99% of these issues. still has, you know, obviously issues. I know, like, know your customer and stuff like that, that KTA and coins want to fix or are fixing. I feel like a lot of people who have bought XRP are also owning Hedera HBAR.
Number one. And so, you know, I'm an
Like, just Kevin O'Leary, a billionaire, calling it. It doesn't mean it will explode, but it means like there is some truth to what he's saying, because he probably has a lot of experience in crypto. He's been very vocal about crypto.
in Avalanche and HBAR.
So here's where I feel like, you know, the risk for Cardano and HBAR and Stellar, people have been asking my opinions on it. I feel like the risk for them is much higher, but so is the reward, right? Because XRP whales need more money to profit off XRP. For HBAR, it could explode. Not all three of them, but maybe one of them. And that's where the real money comes in, right?
And Polygon and ETH. I mean, I got a pretty big portfolio, but I don't know who's going to win. Right. I mean, you look at the price volatility of HBAR. My goodness, I mean, it's you know, 50.
That's because there's no single traders. Like, there's not a lot of traders right now in crypto.
50% a week up and
down. Yeah, I've been watching that myself, actually, yeah.
But it's telling you that, for me, the option is slowly starting to happen there. Right. And I have a pretty big position in that along with others. But I just don't know. I think the portfolio approach, the diversification really matters, with the exception of Bitcoin.
So what he's saying here is that HBAR is one of his established positions. There's a lot of volatility here. Some things to know. Interesting. AVAX, another crypto that he talks about often.
I feel like these are, like, you know, underrated, but it doesn't mean that they will explode. That's the issue. AVAX is like fully decentralized, and a lot of, you know, big companies, which is the big thing for 2025, are not going to pick out AVAX, for example, and building on their chain. There's a very small community, not a lot of transactions there. Again, not a bad cryptocurrency, but the issue is there's so much competition now.
Technologies that were just left aside for so long that have exploded to the upside. HBAR it went up 40, 50, 60% this week.
So this is the thing. These cryptos can go up 30%, but they can also go down like 50%.
Right after Trump takes over.
By the sound of it.
Because they know that Trump will want to work with US-based companies and 0% tax. Again, these are much smaller than the XRP, but definitely still bullish.
He has 200 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. That's all power. That's what that is. And that's what we need for Bitcoin mining. We need for AI data centers. I mean, she's coming out blasting.
Energy takes a lot of time.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. So, things to learn here. There's a lot of volatility on HBAR. He talks about regulation here. This was during the big run that we had late last year. Why I wanted to go ahead and pinpoint this video is because the sentiment does change over time. There are different reasons to be bullish on different cryptocurrencies during different times. And trying to find confluence, things that are similar, is key to go ahead and build an investment thesis. In fact, this is one going a bit ahead in time. This is May 15th, 2025. This is Kevin O'Leary during Consensus 2025. Let's go ahead and watch the video.
The majority of institutional capital waiting on the wings primarily is interested in Bitcoin. And if you ask a large institution after it's designated a commodity or security, they're going to put on a 1.5% weighting and they're going to start with Bitcoin. Now, what happens to the level 2s and everything else? I mean, I'm a big shareholder in HBAR. I'm optimistic about the volatility. It's crazy at the price. But I own a bunch of positions. Avalanche, you know, ETH, like everybody else. But that's just diversification. But really, I think what will happen when the regulatory environment is clear and we have designation to security over commodity, the volume of capital that will come into the top 5 tokens is going to be, it's going to be like a vortex sucking cash out of the crap at the bottom.
Sucking cash out of crap in the bottom, which is very true.
I feel like as long as he makes one of these predictions true, again, he's like planting seeds, right? And if one of these seeds grow, this could be the big thing, right? So HBAR, it doesn't need to be HBAR. It doesn't have to be AVAX Stellar. But if one of these blows up, it could blow up like 200, 300%, and he makes back on all the money he lost as well. So this kind of makes sense for him as well. It's like kind of diversifying. It's like risky play picks that could pay out more than XRP, more than Ethereum. And that's where I think Kevin O'Leary goes, because he has enough money, but it's literally like an investment for him. He can just recover it otherwise. So guys, I'm going to stop streaming now. I really love you all. Been streaming for 3 hours and my eyes are suddenly closing because I took some time to stream today. Really glad I streamed though. Love you all. I will link more of my content if you guys need it. Just so if you want to watch more of my videos other than live stream, here it is. And yeah, I linked it overall. So check out my other videos, and thank you so much for watching and smashing that like button. Again, wherever you are, whoever you are, we had an amazing time today, and I will stream the 30th. I stream here every single day. If you want to subscribe, or if you're already subscribed, I love you, and